And salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of good things. And guys, it's not a regular day, but Erin Commies is here with Joey Bishop. Erin and Joey, how are you guys doing?
Yes, we're great. Thank you so much for letting me switch days. Yesterday was baby Tommy's first audition. And what does an 8.5-month-old baby do in an audition? Well, you just plop them down and they pick up something and shove it in their mouth, and then they don't freak out, and you go, okay, cool. So that
sounds
went well.
like my last audition.
Pretty much,
But
yeah.
pretty
Just sit down and stick something in your mouth.
Anyway,
what were you auditioning for again, John?
Don't tell me how to live my life. Sitting right beside you, of course, is Chris Carr. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I have an audition callback tomorrow that is not too dissimilar from that.
What are you guys auditioning for? Because I think it might be time
Middle America.
Might be time for us to have that talk about the difference between. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, joining you guys in the live chat there today, it's Chef Pleasures himself, Ray Orr. Ray, how you doing?
Thanks for answering my casting call, Chris.
Right beside him, running the show, producer Jonathan Voico.
Yeah, I'm not returning any of your calls.
And guys, of course, most importantly, you guys are here today. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Here's how today's show is going to go. On the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then on the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you'd like to get a live comment or question on the show that have us read off and talk about, number one, you got to be watching live. Number two, when we get to the end of the main topics, I'll announce that we're opening up the super chats. You guys will then have just a couple of minutes to fire those in, and then we will read those off in the second half of the show. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't always be in front of a YouTube video, good news. There's an audio-only version of the show that we creatively call the John Campea Show podcast. Just go to your favorite podcasting app of choice, search for it, and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it. Also, by the way, we've got a secondary mailbag podcast there as well. Go and sign up to those today. All right, guys. With that down, we've got a full load of stuff to talk about here today. So let's dive into it with a couple off the tops, and the first one is this. Some of you guys will remember that years ago, many years ago, Leonardo DiCaprio bought the rights to a novel, the movie rights to a novel called I believe it was Devil in the White City, I think it was called. And he had it for a long time, and they were trying to develop it, and then Martin Scorsese came on board with it too at some point, and it just went through like years and years and years of development hell. Well, Scorsese and DiCaprio then took it over to Hulu, and bang, we're getting a series out of it. The Devil in the White City is coming as a series, and now they've got their star. Getting his first television lead role, Keanu Reeves has signed up for the new Scorsese-DiCaprio project. Now, originally, Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be one of the two main leads. There's been no word about whether he's still going to do that or not, like whether they've got Keanu Reeves, and now they're going to get somebody else as well, or whether it's going to be Keanu Reeves acting opposite of Leonardo DiCaprio. They still haven't said what that is. Either way, it still sounds fascinating. Anyway, Erin, you hear about this today. What do you think about, number one, that they're finally getting this project going, and number two, that good Canadian kid Keanu Reeves is getting his first television lead here as well? What do you think?
It's for so long, there's been this big separation between film actors and television actors. And I'm just really so happy that we've finally come to a place in our entertainment, in our industry, where the television world can finally give an actor like Keanu Reeves a break and just like see him for the talent that he has. And obviously the television world, the streaming world. I don't even think can we even really call it TV anymore?
I think that's kind of evolved in the vernacular. Things like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus.
We just call it TV.
Qualifies as TV.
But this just speaks to how TV is not TV anymore, and that the lines between film and quote television are not only blurred, they kind of don't even really exist to a certain degree when it comes to content, when it comes to really powerful stories and exciting characters that not only actors but also writers and directors are being attracted to. When you can have, first of all, the mega duo of Scorsese and DiCaprio, who have just a litany of projects under their belt together as a combo, when they're coming in and saying, hey, we're bringing another project to the table that is not a movie for television, as we saw with, help me out, you guys know it, one Academy Award, Martin Scorsese.
Oh, the Irishman.
The Irishman, thank you. That is not a film made for a streaming platform, but is actually a series broken up into different episodes, and then bringing on, I mean, I can't think of a better person for them to bring on because this is also Scorsese's first television series as well, isn't it?
I can't remember.
I think it is. I mean, at least his first big high profile one in this way. So I really think that this is just so indicative of where we are in the world of streaming storytelling, because let's face it, Keanu Reeves is not a national treasure. He is a global treasure. We protect him at all costs, and he is someone who has over and over again chosen really exciting material, has chosen people to work with that are putting out great content. And I, for one, am so excited about this project, namely because of the people that are involved in it, and because of the fact that this is a project that didn't just happen, but has been in development. So there's been a lot of time to really fine-tune the ideas of it. And if Leo is in it, great. But if he takes a step back and he decides to Mark Wahlberg and just produce it, I'm okay with that too.
Chris, what do you think?
I'm so excited about this. I love Keanu Reeves. I've loved him in everything from Much Ado About Nothing. I don't care what any of you say. He's wonderful in that. To Turning Up and Always Be My Maybe, the John Wick films. I think he's just absolutely wonderful. And we hear time and time after again, too, that he's just one of the nicest people in Hollywood, too. And it's always really great when you see nice people get nice things. Isn't that how the world should work? Oh, but it doesn't. So it's great when we see those moments.
Well, and it'll be interesting, too, to see. Listen, Keanu Reeves is a very interesting career. He had been hot, fell away, had a resurgence, had a Keanu-sance, fell away again, came back again with the John Wick. We haven't really been able to see him take advantage of that John Wick popularity. It would be really neat to see if he can now kind of parlay the John Wick success into something that's a little bit more, if I dare use the phrase, prestige kind of content with a Scorsese and a DiCaprio.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to see him transition in that period of his career.
Absolutely. I really think with the right story, the right director, and this seems like the team to do it, that we could see some really, really great work from him. And I think that it's time that we all kind of stop making fun of the Keanu Reeves delivery, too, and see that this is a really fantastic actor who, given the right role, could really, really shine.
I had an acting teacher one time who, I think it was like when The Matrix was coming, like when the second and third Matrix were being made, and someone made a crack about Keanu Reeves not being a good actor. And she slammed that kid so hard. She said, well, you're sitting here in my acting class and he's on the cover of every single magazine on the rack. So if you think he's not a good actor, but he's the one that everyone's hiring, the question you need to be not asking is not why is he being hired? It's why is he being hired? Let me actually look at that, find out what he's doing right and I'm doing wrong. And I think it's absolutely true. And I do think that given the right project and the right roles, you know, he shines.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It sounds like Keanu Reeves is joining forces with Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio. Are you excited for this project? Do you think Leo will ultimately act alongside of him or just stay back and produce it? Whatever you guys think, jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's do another off the top, and that is this. You know, one of the Disney Plus Marvel shows that had a lot of people very excited, had a lot of interest, especially Robert Meyer Burnett, was Moon Knight. Now, they made it pretty clear that Moon Knight was a one-and-done series, that whenever they were asked about, it's like, no, we only signed for one contract. They actually submitted it to the Emmys as a limited series, and they kept it as a limited series, which means no season 2. And we all just kind of grew to accept, oh, yeah, that was a one-shot, one-and-done series. Well, maybe not, because the director of, one of the main guys behind Moon Knight, Mohamed Diab, and Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight himself, were just spotted in Cairo. And a TikToker got them on video and said, the question is, will there be a season 2? And the director, Mohamed, said, of Moon Knight? And then the camera pans over to Oscar Isaac saying, why do you think we're in Cairo? So,
Great.
Now, I hesitate. I think we did put it in the title of the video, the word confirmed, because Oscar Isaac is like, why do you think we're in Cairo? I'm second guessing myself using the word confirmed. People use, and I think maybe in this case, I think we use the word confirmed too easily, because technically speaking, he did not say, yes, we are doing, Disney has greenlit Moon Knight season 2, and we are indeed here to brainstorm. I mean, for all we know, they could have just been there on vacation when somebody said, well,
they're
and he's just
antiquing.
and they're just playing around saying, why do you think we're in Cairo? He didn't technically say they were doing it, but let's assume they are. I, for one, while I was not overwhelmed with Moon Knight, I certainly liked it. There were certainly episodes that were utterly fantastic. The finale, to me, was not so great. It went out with more of a sputter than with a bang. So I like the series. I did not love it, but I would welcome a season 2 if they were to do it. Anyway, Chris, you hear about all this. I mean, does it sound like it is true they're going to be doing a Moon Knight season 2? And if so, is this something that you welcome?
Yeah, they're doing a season 2. I remember when we first reported on this being a limited season, and I kept saying, no, it's not. And if it is, why did it end like that? So, ha-ha! Vindication! So nice being born right. Oh my gosh. I'm excited about a second season because it did leave so many more questions, right? Especially that end, and especially the after credits moment, right? Of just like, no, we have more story to tell here. So I'm really, really interested to see what they do here. I really hope how Disney is approaching their shows now, right? With a few extra episodes in there. We do that for Moon Knight too, because that ending was so rushed. They were setting up some really cool stuff, and then, oh no, we have to do it in 6 episodes. So I really hope this second season is longer. And
I remember, like, after episode 5, we were like, okay, there's only 1 episode left.
Yeah.
Like, what? And you're right. They try to do a lot. Anyway, you see all this stuff, Aaron. What do you think? Does it sound like, yeah, they're coming back for season 2? And if so, is this a good move, bad move? What do you think?
I think it's a great move because, yes, as you guys have said, 6 episodes. And we were talking about it when it was airing. Every episode, we're just like, wait, there's so much going on. There's so many little things. I don't understand why they didn't automatically give it more episodes, because I feel like now in season 2, what we're going to probably see, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just take a guess. I predict that season 2 is going to revisit a lot of the story that we saw in season 1, or at least some of the story we saw in season 1, and dig a little deeper. I won't be surprised if we see some flashbacks and a little bit of exploration into things that give us some of the Easter eggs that were maybe hidden or not fully explored in season 1. Obviously, there's going to be some new adventure, some big new thing that Khonshu's going to have to, go deal with. But I won't be surprised if we see a little glimpse into some of the things we may have missed in the first season that were not fully explored. And that's what I'm also looking forward to, as well as Ethan Hawke. I feel like we only scratched the surface.
Oh, I don't think he'll be back. No, I listen, while it wasn't explicitly shown, I thought it was pretty clear they killed him at the end of season 1. And Ethan Hawke, we just talked about an interview he did. He doesn't sound like he's keen to come back.
You can never trust an off-screen death.
No, I agree with that. I agree. You can't. But after seeing the interview with Ethan Hawke saying, hey, I had a really good time working with Marvel. They're very pro actor. They're not very pro director. He said, but he also kind of like mentioned that was good for me. I'm done now. I got that under my belt. But it was kind of interesting because I remember Mohammed was asked a while ago if they ever did do a season 2. He kind of hinted that they would focus more on the Jake Lockley personality, which is of course the one that comes out at the end. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. So I'm now curious to see if like Disney Plus comes out and says yes, because again he didn't say yes, we are doing it. Right. And because this would be a very odd way, like on some random TikTok video, to announce season 2 of it. But hey, if it's happening, I think they got a lot of potential they can do. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think this means all signs, because all signs are pointing to them probably doing a season 2 now? If so, do you think it's a good idea and bad idea? If they're doing it, what direction do you think they're going to go? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys, with that down, we've got one more off to the top to do, and that is this. One of the best currently working creators in the genre of horror is James Wan. He's got an incredibly wild, vivid imagination. I mean, I don't love every single one of the things that he does, but man, when he's putting some out, you can probably count on having a pretty good time watching it. So he's got this project that he kind of came up with, this idea of something called Cosmetic, which is the idea of looking at the beauty industry But from a horror perspective, right there, if that little kind of snippet doesn't catch your attention, I don't know if you have a pulse. Like, that to me is pretty fascinating. What becomes even more fascinating to me is that while having dinner with Aaron and Tom a couple months ago, they had their friends Micheline and her husband along, and the 6 of us had dinner. Well, Micheline and her husband are the ones who are going to be writing and directing this for James Wan. It's called Cosmetic. So, I mean, Aaron, let me put this over to you. This is your friend, Micheline. Mm-hmm. It's like big news in Deadline. They got this big story on them in Deadline right now because you sent me this.
I did.
So tell people a little bit about Micheline. And of course, they also are the ones who created the short film that got a lot of awards buzz that Tom was in as well. So talk about this Cosmetic for a second.
Okay, so you're going to have to give me the wrap it up because, I could wax poetic about them for a long time. I officiated their wedding. Micheline is like a sister to me. So they are such an incredible Hollywood success story of neither of them coming from the world of entertainment and coming here from, various parts of the country and pursuing their careers. RH, her husband, is a filmmaker and did various filmmaking internships and things like really just worked his way up as a filmmaker, but had never done a feature. Micheline comes from the world of fashion and has just been a really masterful, creative mind that I've always known in that aspect of fashion. And she's always been into comic books and things like that. Anyway, they decided to take Micheline's horrific childhood, which had a lot of sexual abuse in it, or had sexual abuse, and take that trauma and make it into a short film about a young girl who goes into her creative mind in order to get away from the trauma she's experiencing. They did this short film. They had Tom star in it, which he was not okay doing initially, but it's a masterful project. You can find it. It's called Grummy, Grummy. You can find the project, and from that project, all of a sudden their world blew open, and they started getting meetings and agents, and things started happening. They had a meeting with James Wan, and all of a sudden, like, this project comes up, and the combination of his partner Ingrid Bisu, the 4 of them together started pitching this idea of the cosmetic industry and the background of the cosmetic industry actually having roots in the occult. The actual word,
which is wild,
Yeah.
which is like the word glamour having occult beginnings. So knowing their just, if you see Grummy, you'll understand how capable hands this film is in, and how exciting it is for 2 people who just really put in the work, didn't know anybody, didn't use nepotism. They just worked their ass off, and they're so creative and so smart, and really, as you said, nice people, nice things happening for nice people. I have known about this for a while, but I've been keeping it under my hat. But now that it's out there, I'm so excited for you guys to watch this story develop. And the fact that they're getting to write and direct as a married couple, their first feature together for Sony Pictures with James Wan and Ingrid Bisu. It's just, I couldn't be more thrilled for them.
Cinderella story. I friggin' love it.
Absolutely,
Yes.
Cinderella story.
Now, Chris, you're not, you are not
I
a
am-
horror film
I am
aficionado.
not a horror-
But I mean,
I will
like, we
tie
were
you
talking
down.
about
I know. I was
Force
going
you
to
to
say,
watch
Aaron
it.
will make me see
We
this.
were talking about this, and
Yeah.
this does sound fascinating.
This does sound appealing, and Aaron and I are both 2 women who grew up in Texas, and we heard lovely phrases such as "beauty is pain, pain is beauty," or "it's better to be looked over than overlooked." And
One of these days, you're going to be so old that those boys won't whistle you at all. You should just say thank you.
so,
Wow.
oh yeah, all kinds of lovely idioms like that. So to hear about, this kind of horror lens on something that is very, very prevalent, especially in the LA area, or the way that we were brought to, of just like changing everything about yourself to fit an aesthetic. It always has felt like horror, but I'm excited to see how this will happen. And I'm so excited for Aaron to cover my eyes anytime eye violence is happening.
It's better to be looked over
Than overlooked.
Overlooked.
Wow. Okay, guys. Question
Being a
for
woman's
you.
great.
What do you think about this? I think this absolutely sounds fascinating. Cosmetic, of course, coming from the mind of James Wan. What do you guys think about this? Does this sound intriguing to you? I think it sounds fantastic. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to move now into our main topics. But before we do, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of today's video, our friends over at Peacock and their brand new wonderful series, The Resort. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Peacock's new series, The Resort. In Peacock's must-see new series, there's more than just trouble in paradise. There's a flip phone, a disappearance, and a suspiciously timed hurricane. The Resort, a new Peacock original from the creators of Palm Springs and Mr. Robot, is an unexpected exploration of how love, marriage, and family can be a real trip. When a couple finds an old flip phone in the jungle on an anniversary getaway, they are unknowingly pulled into an unsolved mystery, a bizarre case that went cold 15 years prior when a once-in-a-century storm wiped away all the evidence. This journey through the Mayan Riviera will take you from the edge of your seat to the depths of human experience and back again. Starring William Jackson Harper, Kristen Milioti, Luis Gerardo Mendez, and Nick Offerman, The Resort is streaming now only on Peacock. And thank you to our friends at Peacock and their new series, The Resort, for sponsoring this episode of The John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's now move into our main topics here today. And how do we select our main topics? Well, that's where you guys come in, because you guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on The John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first one comes from Luis Enrique de la Peña. Good morning, Campea crew. It looks like the axe of Zaslav is getting bigger and thirstier. There's a new report that suggests Discovery might be laying off up to 70% of the HBO Max development staff from scripted content. I have two questions. Does this mean that HBO Max might be shutting down later this year? Could their IP be on hold, DC, the House of the Dragon, etc., until the merger is finalized? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thank you so much for that, Luis. And holy shit. I mean, yesterday, look, we as a fandom, and listen, we all get caught up in this. I get caught up in it. You get caught up in it. We all get caught up in this sometimes. There's a disease that we have of reading headlines without reading articles sometimes. And then once that headline gets read and an assumption gets made, people start running around like Chicken Little yelling that the sky is falling. It's like, whoa, everybody just take a breath. Because I got inundated and flooded with tweets and comments and emails yesterday about, number one, did you hear that they're shutting down HBO Max? I mean, that's how extreme it got. They're shutting down HBO Max. They're laying off 70%. Here's the big one, they're getting rid of scripted content. Did you say it was all over the place? They're getting rid of scripted content. Oh my God, the hair's on fire. Everybody's running around. What the fuck? Like everybody was losing their shit. And then what happened is when you take a breath and actually start reading the actual articles that the actual trades were writing, not Gus's movie reviews .fart sites, but I mean the actual trades, what they were writing, you start to get a little bit of a better picture. Number one, HBO Max is not going anywhere. If you needed any proof of that, Jonathan, if you will, this kind of came up today. HBO Max put out this tweet today about what's going to happen. Well, they just made nope, that's not the one. The image, that's the one. HBO Max put out this tweet today. We are adding a new way to watch Magnolia Network starting on September 30th. You can watch Chip Gaines and Joanna Gaines, all seasons of Fixer Upper, and select Magnolia originals on HBO Max.
Hell yeah, shiplap all the time.
shiplap. It's HBO Max is not going anywhere, okay? So don't worry about that. Also, a bunch of people yesterday freaking out. Oh my God, I think they're going to merge in HBO Max with Discovery Plus. Really? Huh. Where did I hear that before? All right, Jonathan.
This one I'm ready for.
4 months ago. 4 months ago, we told you guys that Discovery and HBO Max are going to be merged into one streaming service. And the reason that they quoted at the time, and this was not a report, like the CFO of Discovery said, the reason we are going to merge the two streamers into one is because this will save us $3 million. No, not $3 million. $30 million. No, not 30, not 300 million. No, $3 billion a year.
What?
By doing this. $3 billion a year we're going to save by merging in HBO Max with Discovery. This has been something we have known about for a long time. And number one, speculated about as much as a year ago. And then 4 months ago, we told you guys they were going to be merging this in. I mean, so this is not surprising. We've known about this. Everybody take a deep breath. Now, One of the big things that then kind of came out, people said, they're going to be laying off all the staff to replace them with Discovery people. No, they're not. Let's go over and take a look at this article here that was in the Wrap, okay? Now, yes, the headline would make you go, oh my God, that means HBO is being destroyed. No. Let's actually listen to the article. The article says this, and this comes to us again from the Wrap that says the following. The move will result in a gutting of HBO Max, significant layoffs for its executives and staff to minimize, this is the important part, to minimize redundancies with HBO. A lot of people forget that HBO Max and HBO are two different things, which only compounds the problem. Back, remember when they announced HBO Max and we were all like, this is causing mass confusion with customers because we had HBO Go, we had HBO Now, and now we have HBO Max.
I'm still confused.
I mean, I think a lot, and I think the fact that so many people got worried about this kind of highlights the fact that that was a dumb move they made at the time with their naming profiles, because people today were still really confused. So in the context of them, they're going to lay off a lot of HBO Max people. It's because there are so many redundancies with core HBO. Anyway, let's keep reading this article. To minimize redundancies with HBO and the combined streaming service with Discovery Plus, with a harder line separating between scripted and unscripted options. Guys, they are not getting rid of scripted content. Not at all. As a matter of fact, they're doubling down on it. Listen to this. Zaslav and his surrogates have been quietly telegraphing to top showrunners and talent that HBO content chief Casey Bloys will take a more senior role as the two streaming platforms are combined. We are told that Bloys, the hitmaker who nabbed HBO 140 Emmy nominations and is set to launch the Game of Thrones prequel House of the Dragon on August 21st, will certainly take charge of the scripted content. HBO is very safe. If this was Game of Thrones, Casey Bloys won, a Hollywood agent with knowledge of the plans said to the Wrap. Okay, number one, HBO isn't going anywhere. Number two, yes, there are layoffs happening because they're more tightly integrating HBO Max with HBO, and HBO has been the king of the hill. HBO is the one that won all the Emmys and got all the Emmy nominations and all that kind of stuff. So yes, there are a lot of redundancies in staff between HBO Max and HBO, so those are the ones that are getting amalgamated. Number three, no, they are not getting rid of scripted content. The number of headlines I read last night of all these sites running, HBO getting rid of scripted content. No, they're not. Stop reading the headlines and read the actual articles. Scripted content aren't going anywhere, and the guy who's been the mastermind behind it all is getting promoted into the company. So look, later today at 1:30 this afternoon, oh, hello, Joey Bishop.
She was just staring at
When you get passionate, she's like, yes, John.
Do it. Do it. Tell him, John.
So we've got a 1:30 p.m. Los Angeles time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when they're going to have their Investors Day call. And I think you're going to hear a lot of their organizational shifting, who's going to be in charge of certain divisions and all that kind of stuff. Now, 4 months ago, when they announced that they were going to be merging HBO Max and Discovery Plus, they did say this isn't going to be something that happens immediately. This is going to take time. So whether they're announcing the actual merger today, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that because it sounded like it was going to take at least a year. Like 4 months ago, it sounded like it was going to take at least a year. So maybe we'll hear about the merging today, but HBO is very safe and very healthy. Scripted content is going nowhere, and HBO Max is not disappearing. So yeah, so everybody can take a breath. And listen, I expect we're going to get some surprises. I expect to hear and find out some things today in this Investor Days call that maybe I never knew about, or maybe might be different than what I was assuming. But for right now, guys, everybody take a breath. HBO's fine. Anyway, Chris, you saw the headlines. You saw the tweets. We saw these things going around.
I read the DMs.
But now that we're actually reading the articles and stuff like that, what's your takeaway from all this?
I mean, this is such a clear case of people reading headlines and not reading articles. And that's so problematic. Y'all just read a full article. It's totally fine. Because a lot of times, what do? They make clickbaity. So you click it, but everyone instead just retweets it now.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's never a good thing when a whole bunch of people are laid off. And my hearts go out to everyone who's dealing with this. It's not fun. I've been laid off from creative jobs. It's a bummer, but it is because they're streamlining things. And HBO was never going to cancel creating content. That's their bread and butter. I got so many messages, even during the show yesterday, of they're scrapping HBO. Do you have a source for me? No. Like, okay, well, I don't think that's happening then, sport. It's
just
okay.
a gut check.
Yeah,
It's a gut
I
check.
feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. So, Game of Thrones, things like this, we think of HBO content as prestige content. We think of that as the kind of gold standard of what television creation can be, right? Aaron was talking earlier about how the lines between film and television have become so blurred, and I think they're a big part of that, right? It's because they create these beautiful narratives that you need 12 episodes to really tell that story. You don't need a limited miniseries. You need episodes to tell their epic narrative. So I really think the content creation over there is safe.
Aaron, you hear about all this. I mean, you've obviously been involved in this world a lot, but anyway, what's your takeaway from this story?
You know what? I actually would really like for you to break it down for me and for the other ding-dongs out there who might be watching.
Huh?
I still don't fully get, like I said, I'm still confused. I still don't fully understand the difference. Like, I understand that HBO Max is for streaming and HBO is for people who have not cut the cable. And is that right? But don't they have the same content?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. No, you're
so
preaching to the choir, sister.
Okay, so no, I literally, I'm not even trying to preach. I'm just trying to get clarity on this. So is it that there's HBO that is for people who still have their cables, and then there's HBO Max for people who have cut their cables, but they show the same content, but they are run with completely different staffs of people?
Well, and actually, if you have HBO on cable, they usually give you HBO Max.
Yeah, they
for
usually
free.
give you HBO Max for free. This is one of the reasons why when Zaslav and Discovery took over, they mentioned the redundancy. Like, this was a year
that
ago.
whole
They
that whole
mentioned
setup makes no, like, that. The only way that this makes sense is if the people who are already running HBO have like a division within that is doing HBO Max, and they talk to each other and they work together as a team. It would be like if all of a sudden, Robert Meyer Burnett had an entire staff of people that did Mailbag. We'd be like, okay, that's kind of stupid. Like, this is all in one house.
Yeah, it was basically when they walked in and looked at the way AT&T was running Warner Brothers and all of its subdivisions. It was, this is a clown show.
Yeah.
Like you greenlit a fucking Wonder Twins movie. Anyway, yeah, they walked in. They basically, everything that you guys are doing here is being done wrong.
See,
But there is content on HBO Max that is not on regular HBO Mothership.
I'm not even clear on that. Like, I am an HBO Max subscriber. I'm not
Same.
even clear on that. Like, from day one, when they launched HBO Max to go along with HBO Now and HBO Go and HBO, like, we never really had a very clear picture. And I'm
Right.
sure some of you guys probably do understand and have a totally clear picture in your head. But for a lot of us, like, it was always very confusing. So anyway, guys, listen. It sounds like it's all going to be fine. It's just like when they merged Fox in with Disney, there's going to become a lot. Like, we don't need 3 vice presidents of organization. We don't need 4 senior vice presidents of operations. There's going to be a lot of redundancy.
Well, somebody said in the chat, they were like, well, there's 2 budgets. And so if you reduce that, then there's less budget for the projects. That's not.
We're talking about operations.
Yeah, that's not how it works. John just said they're going to save, what, $3 billion with a
year,
big capital
and that's
B?
all just from operations costs.
Yeah, just operations. And guess what? That money is going to funnel into more projects. There's just going to be less redundancy.
The way that I think of it is it's as if I've put 3 place settings down for the same person. So I've gone, I'm serving dinner to Aaron, Ms. Cummings, and Cookie. And then someone goes, that's all the same. And I go, oh shit, let's take 2 of these plates away.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a little bit of an oversimplification.
Yeah.
But actually not a bad analogy. Probably
Yeah.
more effective than anything I said here today. All right, guys, what do you think? I mean, we've got the actual Investors Days call a little bit later, but did you see a lot of those headlines that they're scrapping HBO, they're getting rid of scripted content, they're doing that? Look, guys, none of that is true. Anyway, whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This comes from Aaron H. Personally, I was very surprised when the Marvel panel at Comic-Con happened and absolutely nothing was mentioned about Deadpool 3. It just seemed like the perfect place to announce it, so I started to wonder if it was really going to happen after all. Just read that Ryan Reynolds has now officially started his physical preparations for Deadpool 3, which made me very happy. What do you think the chances are that we finally get an official announcement at D23?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Aaron. And yeah, this is interesting. And look, I think it's fair to say that one of the more exciting projects coming out of Marvel that everybody's waiting to hear is Deadpool 3. Now, we've known for a long time they're going to do Deadpool 3. We've heard about the writers are writing, saying Marvel hasn't been interfering with us at all. They're letting us do whatever we want to do. It's the one project that Kevin Feige has publicly said, we're not going to do R-rated content. Except for Deadpool 3. Deadpool 3 is being given that really special designation that it gets to do all that kind of stuff. But now we see the next big step forward. So let's go over and take a look at this. This is Screen Rant's website that they had this report on. Actually, bring up the page itself there, Jonathan.
Gotcha.
This is the Screen Rant website. And if you scroll down a little bit, so what happened was, keep going down till we get to the video a little bit further. There it is. So Ryan Reynolds' personal trainer, the guy who has trained him for the first 2 Deadpool movies, he put up this post, and it's basically, what is the, scroll down just a touch more, Jonathan, where it's
Oh,
say
so
then?
it begins?
Oh, and so it begins with the red face and 2 crossed swords. So clearly he's talking about Deadpool. The Deadpool prep is in full swing. He's getting ready to do his action stuff, getting himself in peak physical shape. Here's an interesting thing, though. Reports have already come out that said Deadpool will not be ready to shoot until 2023. So it could be that Ryan really is just going to be putting in 7, 8, 9 months. I mean, bring up that image again there, Jonathan.
Yeah, he already kind of looks like he's in pretty darn good
Guys,
It doesn't look like he's
I'm not
just getting
sure
off the
what's-
couch.
Get back in that
got
gym,
the
Ryan.
dad
You
bod.
look terrible.
The dad bod there. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like he's been eating as many cupcakes as me, but I mean, he looks like he's pretty much ready to go. So the interesting thing, though, is I think either at D23 we're going to find out one of 2 things with the timing of this. Either, number one, that Deadpool 3 is going to go into production earlier than reports said, that it will go into production sometime before the end of December. Otherwise, why is Ryan Reynolds getting all this hard prep now? There could be another option. That maybe, just maybe, Ryan Reynolds is doing his Deadpool prep for another Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. So if those reports, the earlier reports saying that Deadpool wouldn't be ready to start shooting until 2023, then it is conceivably possible here that the reason he's now back with his Deadpool trainer is because he's got another Marvel thing to pop up in. Now, what that thing might be, I don't know. I mean, Blade hasn't started shooting yet, or did they just start shooting? I can't remember. But Blade's not done its production yet. What else do we got coming out? Ant-Man's already shot, so he's not popping up in Ant-Man. So I don't know. But maybe it's another one. Either way, I think at D23, we are going to get an announcement that either Deadpool is going to start shooting sooner than we thought, or that Deadpool is going to appear in another movie. Either way, I think Ryan Reynolds is going to pop up at D23. So I don't know. We'll see. Chris, you see this report. Ryan, fat slob boy Reynolds, got to get into shape now.
Get in shape, Ryan.
Get his fat ass back to the gym and
You
get himself ready to
slacker.
go. Could it just be for Deadpool proper? Do you think there's a chance it could be for another Marvel film even earlier?
I think it's absolutely for other films. We've talked about this. My theory is that they stitch him into everything, literally meaning Stitch. They're going to Lilo and Stitch him, just like they did for that marketing campaign when it was Stitch, popping into all the classic Disney movies and messing them up. I feel like we got that with Deadpool. And maybe that's a pipe dream, but dang it, Disney, that's what I want. Make it so, Kevin Feige. I think that'd be really, really cool. And I think peppering him into a few things is the way to go with this character. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Ryan.
Aaron, what do you think about this? Do you think this is just, hey, listen, maybe he wants to be, look, he's obviously in great shape. Maybe he's been looking at Peacemaker and he's looking at Chris Hemsworth in Thor, Love and Thunder. And he's thinking, I'm in good shape. I don't know. Maybe he wants to be like ridiculous Adonis.
I got to stop riding off my talent. Oh.
Yeah. So is it that early? Or do you think it could be for something else sooner?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to encourage everyone, beloved Ryan as well, not to look at John Cena, WW, whatever that is, star, and Chris Hemsworth, who is just a genetic freak mutant, clearly from another planet. Let's not aim for that. Let's just make ourselves the best we can be. And he looks, let's face it, Ryan looks great as we just saw. But also, because I am cookie ding dong, I did have to look at a calendar just to clarify. And 2023 is actually only 3.5-ish, like 3 3/4 of months away. So January is actually not that far away.
Well, 4 or 5 months away, depending on how you count August.
It's
You got all of
August 4th, August, September, October, November, December. So that's 4.
Then January. January actually gets you into the month of January. Yes.
Okay, right. But if you want to just get in basic shape, you got to give yourself 3 months, like just to get in basic shape. And clearly, Deadpool is not just basic shape. It's like next level shape. And we don't know what's going to happen with this. But I do think there's 2 things that I thought when I first saw this. I was like, first of all, okay, wow, like, if he already looks that good, what is the goal? Like, I want someone to sketch it out for me. What are we shooting for? Are we going for Hulk? Are we going for Peacemaker? What are we going for here? Because I kind of like the Deadpool that we've known this Deadpool. I like him.
Yes. The one here on my desk.
Yes. And that Deadpool in that form is actually pretty darn yoked. So yes, as great as Ryan looks, we have a ways to go. I'll just point out where the.
To me, it looks like he's getting ready for Just Friends 2. I mean, look at that. God. What picture were you guys looking at?
But here's my main point, though. The actual point that I want to come to is, holy hell, how is Deadpool 2 being announced on Deadpool 3, excuse me, being announced on his trainer's Instagram? Like, when I first read that, I went, oh, that clearly was a slip up on the part of the trainer. There's no way that they were okay with that. And then I went, no, the Instagram post, it's still up there.
Well, I mean, they didn't really announce Deadpool 3, like, and we've all known there've been tons of stories, like the writers have been talking about the writing process and everything's happening. Kevin Feige says it's happening.
Right, but I feel like my trainer posting an image with the Deadpool kind of like little emojis is something that maybe should happen the day after D23 or the day after the big trade announcement. I'm just a little shocked that was the thing that is causing, it's not like speculation. It's pretty, I mean, yes, we don't use the word confirm until we use the word confirm, but I was just a little shocked, like maybe that was something that could have posted, a few weeks from now.
Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Fat Canadian kid Ryan Reynolds having to get himself into shape for Deadpool because clearly, look at that slob. Oh my God, how has he let himself go so badly? Do you think he's just got a very, very long training regimen for Deadpool in 2023? Do you think they might start shooting it earlier? Or do you kind of suspect, like we do, that Deadpool might be popping up in another Marvel property before then? Whatever you guys think and speculate, it's fun too. Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get into main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one comes from Puka. Hey, John. According to Deadline, Joker 2 is getting a release date of October 4th, 2024. I was not expecting that long of a wait after they announced the title a few months ago. Do you think this long of a wait could be too long and the hype might not be as big since we will have to wait another 2 years? Thank you and love your channel.
Yeah, so they have officially announced a release date for Joker 2, I always mispronounce it, Folie à Deux. What does that mean again?
Folie à Deux, it means it's
women of questionable morals?
No, that was our other one.
That's the other one.
It's a shared
like psychosis,
delusion.
right?
Yeah, it's a
Right.
psychological
Something of two.
disorder. Yeah, it's when 2 people can share the same psychosis, and then there's like folie à trois, folie à quatre,
But
like
then that gets kinky, so.
yeah.
And then again, I think it's real kinky. And of
They need a
course,
special sofa for
since
that.
that Deux is of 2, so obviously it's a reference to Joker and Harley because then they announced that Lady Gaga is going, I'm sorry, I should say the way Clayface does. Lady Gaga!
Lady Gaga.
So Lady Gaga is going to be playing Harley Quinn, and it is going to be a musical, which is like bonkers to me, but it sounds incredible. I mean, it's got to be good enough because Joaquin Phoenix said yes to it.
Yeah,
That's
He
true.
said yes to it, and it is coming out in October of 2024. All right. Is that like way too far off? Well, here's the funny thing. By the time it comes out, it will have been on the same weekend, the 5-year anniversary of the release of the first Joker by the time it comes out. But really, when you think about it, them just coming, like they had a title for it and whatever, the movie's 2 years away. Just a little over 2 years away. That's not a terribly long time for getting all the pre-production done, shooting the film, post-production, then doing your big marketing campaign. It can be done in a shorter window, but 2 years is really not all that big of a stretch at all. So listen, there's been a lot to this. And of course, they had, because Joaquin Phoenix doesn't like doing like, oh, the sequel to just whatever thing, but they backed up the truck and they're paying him $20 million to do this film, which when you consider that he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for the last one, and the last one got nominated for Best Picture, and it made over $1 billion at the box office, and there's no way you could do the sequel to this without him. It kind of makes sense. So I think this sounds pretty interesting, pretty fun. I love the first movie. I cannot wait for the second one. The fact that it's going to be a musical is bonkers to me. Anyway, Aaron, you hear about this. What do you think?
Well, I understand the concern about waiting too long because, we all saw what a disastrous box office train wreck it was for Top Gun to come out.
Waiting 30-something years.
I mean, God, all that time and money they put into that movie for it just to flop like that. You really got to work on that timing. No, this does not seem like a far-fetched timeline at all, because you're absolutely right. It's not like they're saying this is when they're going to start shooting or even when they're going to complete filming on this. And what I am just imagining, I'm basing this off zero information at all except for my own hallucinations. I am imagining that with this being a shared psychosis between Harley and Joker, and this having a musical element, and then we all saw that great dancing down the steps. I really think that when we hear musical, I don't think that we should go, oh, the Grey's Anatomy musical episode. No. I think we should go back to Joker dancing down the steps and how that became sort of this moment that epitomized the movie.
By the way, did you ever see the YouTube video where somebody took the Cialis commercial audio and just put it over that thing? It's one of the funniest things on YouTube. Look it up, Joker Cialis commercial. You'll die laughing all day. So
I will do that as soon as the John Campea show is finished. As soon as we finish talking about our topics and getting those numbers in. Just kidding. So I really feel like this is going to be a part of a sort of hallucinogenic type of musical where they both go into this fantasy together. That's what I'm just imagining, which I'm totally here for, and I love it. And so I also think that there may be some post-production stuff that needs to happen that's going to take some time. But you're absolutely right. The lead up to this, as far as marketing and promotion, is going to be epic. And I would love to know how many back-end points on this movie Joaquin Phoenix has. Because forget about the 20 million. That's going to be pocket change compared to what he makes with those back-end points that he's sure to get because he got them on the first one.
There is one other thing to keep in mind, too, about it'll be 5 years since the first one came out to when the second one came out. Don't forget, this was never supposed to be a franchise. Mm-hmm. It was in stone. This is a one-shot movie. And Best Picture nomination, Best Lead Actor win, $1 billion at the box office. That obviously started a thing, but it probably took them a while.
$1 billion at the box office when not a lot of movies were making $1 billion. $1 billion during no, that was pre-COVID. Sorry,
it was pre-COVID, but also
Cookie
people.
Ding Dong. Sorry,
but also people saying. I remember when they announced this movie, they was like, "It's going to flop. You can't do a Batman movie without Batman. Joker movie, it's going to flop. Nobody's going to want to see it." Made over $1 billion, but also it probably took a couple of years to get all the pieces in place to get everybody to agree, because this project was supposed to be one and done. And so that's probably part of the reason why. So I think it'll be fine. Anyway, Chris, you hear about all this. What do you think?
I feel like this is the appropriate amount of time that it takes to make a movie, right? Especially if you're dealing with mental health. If you were talking about shared psychosis, you want to do that well. You don't want it to be gimmicky. The last film was a prestige film, and frankly, I feel like they didn't delve into some of the mental health things where it'd be like, we're not going to say what's going on because that's interesting. You can do some research here, especially if you're giving this a name, right? That's an actual clinical diagnosable thing. So I think there's that. Also, if it is a full-fledged musical, if that is the route, unless you're doing Les Mis, I mean, that's an ADR nightmare. Everyone has to go back over and dub themselves singing. So this is something that is going to take a lot of work, not only in the initial production, but the pre-production work as well. And even though that last one was done on a more, in terms of superhero genre stuff, a more shoestringy kind of budget, right? This, we're up in the ante. We've got a higher budget. We're expecting more. There's probably going to be a lot more, dreamy sequences like you were talking about too. So this is going to take a little more effort. Makes sense to me.
All right, guys, question is for you. We have a release date now, October 2024 for Joker, blah, 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 duh. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that's too long of a wait? Are you surprised it's getting done as fast as it is? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. Before we move on to the next topic, let's take a second here and thank another sponsor of today's show. I've been using these guys for years. I love them. The good folks over at Storyblocks. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, well, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea. And a big thank you to our friends at Storyblocks for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, let's now get into main topic number 4. Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
This one comes from Alex Wynn. Hey, John. So after the Batgirl news came out, everyone lost their minds and started wondering if everything was going to get canceled. Not paying attention at all to why Batgirl got canceled. Anyway, did you see a fan was freaked out and asked James Gunn if Peacemaker Season 2 was safe, and he just told them to calm down? Why do you think everyone is overreacting so much? And do you think Peacemaker is indeed safe?
All right, thanks a lot for sending this in, Alex. And again, this kind of goes back to the first main topic today when we were talking about HBO, however everybody was screaming that the sky was falling. They're canceling all scripted content. They're going to cancel everything. Ah! And yeah, of course. So actually, what this fan did was pretty reasonable. They decided, instead of wondering and just freaking out, let's ask James Gunn directly. So actually, let's bring up the webpage for that there, Jonathan. Let's just ask James Gunn directly. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see, we're going to see the tweet here. There it is. So somebody asked, is Peacemaker Season 2 safe? He just decided to write directly to James Gunn, and James Gunn, guys, yes, guys, calm down. So just again, another little sign that yes, scripted series are safe. HBO's not going anywhere, all that kind of stuff. But this is one of those things where this was a no-brainer. I mean, Peacemaker is the greatest, I believe, and there's people want to debate me on this, and that's perfectly fine. It's just a matter of personal choice and preference. But I personally believe Peacemaker is the single greatest DC thing ever on television. I really do. And I did not have a lot of hope for it. I thought straight up, I thought the trailers were bad. It looked cheap. It looked like it was shot on an iPhone. At least the first trailers and previews I saw. The only thing, not like John Cena, but the only thing that had me interested was that it was James Gunn. I mean, that's it. James Gunn, you'll always have my interest. You could call an upcoming TV project poo. And I'll probably, if it's James Gunn, I'll probably
James Gunn.
And I'll probably give it a shot because it's James Gunn. But oh my God, from the opening credits, which I still contend are the greatest opening credits of any television show in the history of the medium. From the opening credits on, I fell in love with the show. It was incredible, and it's one of their biggest successes they've ever had. I would contend that even if HBO, and it's not, clearly we've already addressed all this, we've already shown all the announcements, but even if in an imaginary world, HBO Max was getting shut down, they would find a way to keep Peacemaker 2. I mean, that's just how good that show was, how enjoyable it was, and how successful it was for them. So, yeah, James Gunn himself, in the midst of everybody saying, oh my God, they're going to cancel Joker, and they're going to cancel the Batman 2, and they're going to cancel Peacemaker, and James Gunn just comes out and says, the way only James Gunn can. Guys, calm down. But Peacemaker 2 is safe. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. What do you think about this? Now confirmation that
man.
Peacemaker 2 is indeed still going to come.
David Zaslav is going to come to your home and cancel your family. Cats and dogs are living together. Mass hysteria. It's fine. It's fine. This was their most streamed show in recent years, wasn't it?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah. This is a golden goose for them right now, right? Why would you cancel it? Now, are the execs going to be maybe a little more involved in content moving forward? It seems like that. It seems like they're going to be checking things out and making sure things are held to a certain standard. But if a show does this well, why would you scrap the second season when people want it so much and the previous season was excellent?
Yeah, I mean, right now, the axe of Zaslav has been culling things that have failed or were crappy.
Exactly.
And so, like, this was just, I mean, I don't know how on earth. Like, let me put it this way. Just like I was very bullish on Bob Chapek when he started at Disney, and I kind of changed my tune on Chapek later, I've been very, very bullish on David Zaslav. If, like, we found out today in the investors call that they were scrapping Peacemaker season 2, holy shit, my tone would change pretty damn fast, because that would just be an idiotic move among all idiotic moves. Anyway, Aaron, I don't know why you would have any interest in Peacemaker at all, but what do you think about Peacemaker season 2 being safe?
Well, so my husband, Tom, we've had conversations where he has said the only person that I would be okay with you leaving me for is John Cena. And when I found out post-cancer, after I had cancer, that he does all these Make-A-Wish Foundation events.
Hospital visits.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm sorry, why did nobody tell me this when I was going through chemo? Because I would have loved to have John Cena come and visit me when I was going through cancer. And Tom was like, it's only for kids. I was like, fuck those kids. I have cancer. I want John Cena to come see me. Yes, I do love John Cena. And so I love everything that he does.
There's a new t-shirt. Just a picture of Aaron's face. Hashtag fuck those kids.
Fuck those kids. I have cancer too. But John Cena, I will totally shave my head and pretend sorry. Back to the topic at hand. Sadly, I do have some breaking news from the chat, actually. PG Works has just informed us that Zaslav has canceled the John Campea show. So
Damn it.
It's been fun,
Bye,
you guys.
It's been fun. It's been great.
I've had a nice time.
Yeah. No,
Ray's been calling it every day.
here's how I know that PG is just messing with us, because when it's a success, you want to keep it going. And not only is the John Campea a success, but in a close second, Peacemaker is also
Close second.
Close second,
second.
but
John Cena is the second best JC.
very
The second best
Whoa.
John C.
You'll get there.
What James
There's only
Gunn-
one JC.
What James Gunn didn't explain in that tweet was that it's actually going to be going non-scripted, and Peacemaker will be building homes.
Oh my gosh!
With
Shiplap.
Chip and Joanna
With
Gaines.
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
It's a whole new series, everybody.
Shiplap
You know what?
everywhere.
I would watch the shit out of that show.
I would
Are
watch
you
the hell.
kidding
Oh,
me?
I would love it so much. Chip and Peacemaker. Oh my God, they'd love each other.
He's so great. Demo day would be awesome.
that's what he does.
Demo day, that's all-
Literally, John Cena just comes in
Demo
and
day.
then like eagerly just takes all the trash and just flings it off. And yes,
love it.
Peacemaker is not going anywhere. I will also say this. There's some shows on HBO Max I will not mention, but I remember like I have a friend and they did a show and I was like, I'm going to watch this because I know this person and I want to support them. And I was like, this is one of the most unwatchable, claw my eyes out, boring shows I've ever seen in my life. And it got a season 2. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are they just greenlighting is HBO Max just becoming Netflix? So I agree with what Chris said. I don't ever like to see people losing their jobs. But if I am running a company, if I were the person in charge of the bottom line and I go, oh, wow, I'm sorry, we're greenlighting what now? And why is that? And what's it? Okay, no, that doesn't work for me. Like at the end of the day, running a corporation is not the same as creating art. And when you merge the two, it is sometimes a really nasty business. And I don't envy the people that have to make these, unfortunately, non-creative decisions. But Chris and I as artists, we've been the person sometime that's like, when the company looks at it and they go, who of our clients are making us money? Okay, from this line up, you guys stay clients. From this line down, you all get dropped.
Let me ask you this question, because I've been curious about this. So you are one of the stars of one of my top 3 all-time favorite television shows, Spartacus.
Oh, yes.
So
I did that.
I am curious though, because you mentioned the claw your eyes. I mean, I've told you this. The first episode or two of Spartacus is some of the worst television I've ever seen. I'm like, it's only because Aaron's in this that I will keep watching. But then it got great.
And you're like, Aaron's boobs, Aaron's boobs, Aaron's boobs. Every time you start to go out, Aaron's boobs show up and they pull you back in.
And there it is, Aaron's boobs. So the question I have, though, is when you were doing that, at what point did you guys know you were going to get a second season? And did you guys ever feel like, oh, there's no way we're getting a second season from this?
I think that because we had an idea of where the story was going, because a lot of the reason why I think the show was rocky, I'll say rocky, not what you said, like the worst TV show you'd ever seen in your life.
Only for the first 1 or 2 episodes, then it became one of my favorites.
Because if you look at it script-wise, it was solid. Stephen DeKnight is a brilliant writer, and script-wise, it was there. I think the problem is that visually, the show didn't know what it wanted to be. It was a little too much like 300 on the small screen, and it was trying too much to be that. And it took I think up until episode 4 to really get its the wheels on. But that was visually. I think if you were to just read the script from the pilot, which I'm happy to loan you because I still have it, if you just read the script of the pilot of Spartacus, it's good. So we always knew we had something good story-wise. It just took a little bit for everybody to get on the same page of what it was supposed to look like. And by episode 4, where a man gets his face cut off and then another man wears that face, that's where you just really know you're getting quality stuff. But we knew about season 2 before season 1 ever aired. When we were
so you were already
that's
greenlit for
awesome.
season 2 before season 1
we were
even aired.
on set, and Rob Tappert called everybody there together and announced to all of us, we have big news. We just got greenlit for season 2
before
season 1 has even ever aired. And also you have to remember that was for Starz, a network that didn't have a lot of programming at the time. And so what they were seeing is they were like, this is the show that's going to put us on the map. We have to have a second season. That's not HBO.
And that's not Peacemaker.
Right. Very different story. If you were a very young network like Starz was at the time, you had to keep that train running and just fix it as it was going along. But HBO, they have more content than they need.
All right, guys, question is for you. James Gunn has put everybody's fears to rest. He said, yes, Peacemaker season 2 is safe. Everybody needs to calm down. What do you think about that? Are you looking forward to Peacemaker season 2? I cannot wait. Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's go into our 5th and final main topic here today. Chris, what is our 5th main topic today?
This comes from Grant Olson. Hey, John and crew. I know it didn't get amazing reviews, but I really liked Eternals. There wasn't an announcement for it for Phase 5, but I was hoping maybe we'd get a sequel for it in Phase 6. Well, on the Today Show, Patton Oswalt straight up said there will be a sequel, and Chloé Zhao will be directing. Usually Marvel keeps things super secret, but this seems pretty direct and seems pretty much like this is confirmed and probably will be announced at D23. What are your guys' thoughts? Thanks and have a marvelous day.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, listen, Eternals was one of these films where, my expectations were through the roof. There were whispers that it was going to be Marvel's best film ever and all that kind of stuff. And so that was the type of expectations I went in with. And frankly, the movie does not live up to those expectations. But it is still a good movie. I watched it again recently when I was flying back home to Canada, and it was one of the movies on flight, and I watched it, I'm like, this is actually pretty good. Not top shelf MCU by any stretch, but I actually enjoyed it more the second and third time I watched. I think Rob felt the same. I think actually Rob likes the movie a little bit more than I do. But I quite liked it. And of course, they said the Eternals will return. The questions become when and where. And like you said, when Comic-Con came and went, and there was like no mention of Eternals 2, a lot of people, myself included, started wondering, well, are they going to do it? They planned to do it, but like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And Eternals didn't do as well as a Marvel film is accustomed to getting with critic reviews. It didn't do as well at the box office as Marvel films are accustomed to getting at the box office. Maybe they're changing their mind. Well, forget that, because apparently Patton Oswalt He just kind of let it out of the bag. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant, wrote the following. Earlier on Wednesday, the Today Show shared a short clip from an interview with Oswalt. The conversation is largely taken up by Oswalt explaining the end credit scene of Eternals and the character he plays. But he takes a surprising turn at the end. He says, they have announced that there's going to be an Eternal sequel. Chloé Zhao is going to direct it. And then he goes on to say, I really hope it gives us more of a chance to get more into his character Pip and Star Fox, the brother of Thanos, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, is Patton under the impression that at Comic-Con they did announce it? Or did he just let something out of the bag? But it wasn't a question. It wasn't speculation. When you watch the clip, it's not him hoping that. No, he said, no, they're doing it. And Chloé Zhao, Academy Award winning director Chloé Zhao, is coming back to direct it. And that's that. We're getting an Eternals 2. I love this. If for no other reason, I want to see a lot more Makari and
Druig?
Druig.
Yeah.
I want to see more Makabi
Oh my
and
gosh,
Druig.
their chemistry is amazing.
I hate romantic couples in comic book movies with very, very few exceptions. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, Tony and Pepper. This is one I adored and I loved. And I loved all the characters in the movie as well. So when you got something like this, by the way, Rob keeps bringing it up, but it's true. The planet Earth now has this giant man coming out of it. And no Marvel project has even mentioned it yet. Oh yeah, by the way, what was it? The Indian Ocean? Is that where they said it was? Anyway, one of the big oceans has this giant continent-sized man half coming out of it. And nobody's mentioned it anywhere in the MCU. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any fallout from that. Oh yeah, and also a giant celestial god appeared in the sky and said, I'm going to come back and judge mankind. Nobody's mentioned it. Nobody mentioned it in the MCU so far. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from that. Anyway, Chris, you see this. Did Patton Oswalt just kind of let the cat out of the bag?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. He's king of the geeks. He loves Marvel so much. And you know what? If Patton says it, I believe it. I'm here for it. I still think that his pitch from Parks and Rec should happen. I loved that epic crossover
God,
filibuster.
One of the most iconic things ever.
So good. So good. And I really just want to see him do this character more, right? I want more Pip. Instead of just that little tag in there, I want to see him using his global tracking and his human strength and all this stuff. Superhuman strength, rather. I think we need to explore the Eternals more because of those cosmic consequences. It feels like the MCU right now is a John Mulaney bit, right? Where they see the Celestial and they're like, well, being an adult's already fucking weird enough. This might as well happen. This is fine. So I really think we need a little more time in that version of the MCU so we can figure out what the heck is going on and why people aren't reacting.
I will say this too. While I liked the post-credit scene, Pip showing up and Star Fox showing up and all that kind of stuff.
Because you love Harry Styles.
I'm all about Harry Styles. Watermelon Sugar. Is that the right guy?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
Watermelon Sugar. See, I wasn't even sure. I will say this though.
I didn't even know that.
The CGI on Pip was awful. I mean, it was circa 2005 CGI. I thought he looked terrible. So, I mean, maybe that's
Was that
because,
the picture that was up when we were reading?
Oh, yeah. Can we
There's
bring
that.
up? Yeah, there he is. I mean, as a still, it doesn't look so bad. It doesn't look so terribly bad as a still.
That's Patton Oswalt, though?
There's no makeup
That's the
there. That's
CGI
actually just
character
him.
that he's doing the
'cause
voice
he's doing
for.
motion capture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I
was like,
thought-
that's pretty good makeup, though.
Watching, if that was makeup, it would be pretty
I
good.
was like, wow, that didn't even look like him at all.
But I thought, I just thought the animation of it, the look of it didn't look great. It kind of felt like this was kind of a rush thing for a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
It felt like a little bit to me. Of course, the other post-credit scene in Eternal setting up Blade with the Black Knight. That was pretty
That was
damn-
epic.
Very excited
Oh,
about
man.
that. So anyway, Aaron, Patton Oswalt's on the Today Show and he drops, without the Marvel laser pointers on him, he drops that, yeah, they are doing it. Chloé Zhao is directing it, all that kind of stuff. What do you make of that?
Okay, so there's two things that first of all, that's a clear example. If this was a slip up, that is a clear example of how it is challenging to do a live show. I mean, we're doing it right now, and we've had moments where, the camera will cut and then John will come over and he'll have to slap us and be like, he's
You can't say that.
Yeah. No, we've had moments, and then there have also been times where we've had brain farts that right in the middle of saying something, all of a sudden you forget what you're saying, but you're live, and there's potentially hundreds of thousands or millions of people watching, depending on what's going on. And sometimes you just get really excited, and stuff just comes out. And I mean, isn't it Tom Holland that just keeps on?
Oh, yeah. Tom Holland's
yeah.
notorious for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I
He's
think
the Robert Meyer Burnett of the MCU. Just,
Tom Holland is the Robert Meyer Burnett of the
That's what he
MCU. Yeah. I feel bad that Big Guy's not here.
he's so happy to share stuff.
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't wait for Rob to get here to share that with me. That's amazing. Yes, so there are these slip-ups that do happen at the same time on these shows like the Today Show. It is so boom, boom, boom right before. I mean, I haven't done the Today Show, but I have done live interviews for, various broadcasts. And what they do is they do a pre-interview where they specifically go, okay, these are some of our potential questions. They ask you a bunch of questions. You answer all those questions. And then depending on which answers they find the most interesting, they go, they later come back and they go, okay, these are the 3 questions we're going to ask you, just kind of retell those stories that you told us in your pre-interview. That's why all those comedians on the late night shows, they just really have that funny, you were driving the other day. Do you like driving? And then all of a sudden they have this great joke. Yeah, that's why, is because they've done a pre-interview. Mm-hmm. So there's that, number one. So they stick, it's not a script, but they stick to the topic at hand in these interviews. And I feel like, what was the question?
Oh, he just kind of brought up like Eternals too. Like they asked like you're going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then he brought up, well, I am Pip in this, and we did this, and Pip, and he starts going on in a very Patton way. Pip, so you go back to the origins of his character, blah blah blah.
So whenever he has a space gem, then he can do this, but sometimes he can do metamorphosis if he has this, and without a Morlock, yeah.
So then they dragged him back, but with Eternals, they said, yeah, well, they've announced that we are doing Eternals too. Chloé Zhao is going to be doing it, so that was
well. So so if that's the case, though, like a lot of times those shows, especially like the Today Show, which is not supposed to be salacious or like pulling things out of people, that was probably a question that was pre-planned on the part of the publicity team.
Maybe.
Because his publicist is there with him. His publicist met him at the studio. They did they talked about everything, and then they said, okay, these are the questions we're going to ask. And the publicist is sitting there off camera, like nodding or shaking their heads. So I don't think that this was a slip up. This may have been an intentional release from, as a way of releasing a little Easter egg and seeing how people respond. So what's the response?
We'll see. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Will Patton Oswalt turn up dead in a ditch somewhere with some Marvel-shaped bullets in him? Or was this a planned thing? Was it an accidental slip? I don't know. What do you guys think? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, we are now going to open up the super chats because now it's time to move into the part of the show where we hear from you guys. Your thoughts, theories, opinions, questions, whatever. If you got them, now is the time to fire those in. But before we start answering those, we want to hear from one more sponsor of today's show, one of the longest sponsors of the show we've had, our wonderful friends over at Stamps.com. We want to thank the sponsor of this video, Stamps.com. Now, guys, you don't need me to tell you that running a business, no matter how big or small, is an incredible stress. It feels like you need 5 of you for all the different directions you're being pulled in. And with all that, who's got time to go to the post office? Having to drop everything that you're doing to make a run to the post office is a major pain and drain on your day, especially when you've got more important things to do, like running your business. So stop mailing and shipping the hard way. Stamps.com is your 24/7 post office that you can access from everywhere. Skip the headache with Stamps.com. Stamps.com gives you access to all of the post office and UPS shipping services that you need right from your computer. And get discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 30% off USPS rates and 86% off UPS. Stamps.com just makes your life easier, guys. You're up and running in minutes, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send it. So guys, don't mail and ship the hard way. Sign up with Stamps.com today. Sign up with the promo code Campea for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code Campea. And thank you to our friends at Stamps.com for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, for the rest of the show now, we're just going to hear from you. So we're going to start off, though, with our beloved channel members. Ray, what do we got over there?
Okay, Spencer Smothers writes, I saw episode 1 of Sandman yesterday through the virtual premiere. I loved it. Looks and feels like the comic. It does a great job translating the comic to screen. while making changes that are great for telling the story.
When does that does that come out tomorrow?
It might.
It might even, it's either tomorrow or next week.
I'll
I know
double check.
Robert is really excited about that. Congratulations, man, on watching that. Is so cool. All right, what's next?
Okay, Marie Saffring writes, do you think Patton Oswalt intentionally let the Eternals 2 news slip? Or is he now getting the Tom Holland, Mark Ruffalo lecture?
I personally, I honestly, the way the video played, I do not think it was planned. I think he slipped. And I think he's getting the lecture. I think right now he is getting a serious like. Again, you may feel differently when you watch the clip. It's just the way that it played to me. And also when he says, they announced it. We're doing a thing too with Chloe Zhao. I'm like,
Oh, they may have in his mind they announced it to
or that
the
they're
cast.
going. Yeah,
It's
maybe
in
that. But
September.
so I don't know. I think he's getting a talking to this morning. Yes. All right. What's next?
Okay, CJ Rebirth writes, I started Doom Patrol last night and it's awesome.
Yeah, I love
Cliff
it.
and Jane are my favorite characters.
Yeah.
It's like seeing O'Connell trying to befriend Isabella Madrigal.
The show again. I've called it. It's Shakespeare wrapped in a Kevin Smith package. I mean, it's ridiculous and bonkers, but if you look beyond, like through the ridiculous and bonkers, there is heavy
Oh,
depth
yeah.
in these things. It's just amazing. So yeah, if you haven't started watching Doom Patrol, absolutely
So
give it a
good.
shot. Oh, the Sex Men episode is still one of my favorite episodes of TV. All right, what's next?
Alejandro Flores Rosales writes, can wait to see the re-release of Spider-Man No Way Home.
I don't care about it. I never care about that stuff at all. They're, come back to the movie theater so you can see 80 extra seconds of something. I've never cared
Are they
about that kind of
re-releasing
stuff.
it?
They
Yeah,
are.
they're
Oh, okay.
re-releasing it with a few extra. They're calling it, I can't remember, the extra spectacular thing. I don't like this practice by things. I mean, don't get me wrong. After a few years and re-releasing a thing to watch, go favorite, that's great. But this movie was just out not long ago, so I have no excitement for it. Even though I love the movie, I have no excitement.
It's the scenes we've already seen in the extra features anyway. It's
Yeah,
not like
probably.
it's-
All right,
Just
what's next?
incorporated into
Yeah.
the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, this last one from Angel Leon interests me because it says, good day, crew. Did you see that Electronic Arts is developing a Black Panther game, a video game?
I thought I heard something about that.
First time I've heard it.
I thought I heard something about that. I might be wrong, but I mean,
they
obviously,
should.
I don't know
That's
why there
genius.
isn't one. I mean, of
What?
course you put that out.
Surprise.
What a
Surprised
cool
it took
game
this
that would be
long.
with the big rhinoceros that they had.
Oh,
And
that
just like,
could be a
just
lot
that
of
whole
fun.
environment would be really cool.
I mean, just the environments of Wakanda and everything would
Yep,
be
the
amazing
vines,
if they did
climbing
it.
up vines,
Yeah.
trees.
So I can't remember. I thought I heard something about that, but I might be mistaken. All right, what's next?
That's it.
All
That's
right.
it for me.
Let's now, thank you, channel members, for putting those in. All right, let's now go over to the super chats. Chris, what do we got?
From Jay Master, the big important question every John Campea viewer is asking, will there be a Joey Bishop camera taking us behind the scenes of the show?
Jonathan, work on it.
Let's put a GoPro on
there
her.
There are dog harnesses for GoPro cameras that you can put on your dogs, and it will like, just
Yes.
follow them around. Maybe we should do that when Joey
I have a
Bishop's
GoPro. We can do that.
in. So do I, but I don't have the harness.
Me neither.
But all we need to do is just, I mean, you know that Joey Bishop doesn't really go anywhere. So all we need to do is just get like a camera that focuses on her dog bed. Or maybe we'll just like, maybe that'll
There we
be the
go.
Joey Bishop camera. We'll
Hi,
just
cutie.
stick you up there and you
You
can
wanna
just
be here?
like,
She is a bit of a diva, though. She's difficult talent to deal with.
There you go.
they are,
It's-
she's such a
Always the
bitch.
last-
Out of my
Laptop's
life
not
around here.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
From Rafael Castillo, I changed my GPS's voice to Bono's, and now the streets have no name, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Well done.
Okay, I thought you were serious because I remember you could get voices put
Yeah.
on to, what was the app? Was it Waze?
It was Waze. I
Yeah,
would
we-
have Stephen Colbert tell me where to go.
And used to have like C3PO on it, and had, who else did she have on that? And she, different voices, Bono one. That would be fun. But yes, where the streets have no name. Well done. Well played. All right, what's next?
Well, that GoPro dog harness is $40, baby.
We better not
Did it?
do it.
All right.
Do it. All right, what's next?
From Harry, David Zaslav has officially canceled Gotham Knights on CW. Yep, that crime against cinema will never see the light of day. DC on CW looks to be officially dead and not a moment too soon. It's a new era.
I don't know if that's true. Ray, can you look that
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
Just look up Gotham Knights CW. If they did, again, thank God.
Yeah.
Looks real bad.
Why like all they have been doing is ruining the reputation of the DC name.
I just didn't understand giving Batman a different kid. Like a shitty rich kid, like a Chad. I don't know. Like, why was he
Chad.
there? Like a Chad.
I mean, so I don't know if the story is if what they're saying
Yeah.
is true or not. But like again, it's not hyperbole when I say that is one of the worst television trailers for anything I've ever seen in my life.
Not good.
Yeah.
Like, how did they even release it? And I love Misha Collins, who played Castiel in
Oh, so
Supernatural.
good.
And I was so happy that he was going to get this opportunity, but that thing looks like crap.
But the CW still will have DC because as of right now, Stargirl hasn't been canceled. Stargirl's pretty charming.
Haven't they officially moved that over to HBO, though?
Have they?
I'm not 100% sure. 'cause
And
that's one of
Flash
their
is
show-
gone.
Yes.
Flash is
leaving.
is going to be
Yeah.
wrapping
Final
up.
season.
And
I don't see
Superman
anything
and
yet.
Lois, they're moving. Okay, so that might not be a true story, but if it is, we'll keep our eyes open for it. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw, what's not to say Killmonger was buried at sea like he wanted, and then he was found and then revived by Namor using their powers magic? Could be villain and then switch sides later. Your thoughts?
Al, it's at the MCU. They could say a magical space rock fell to Earth and revived his dead corpse.
Yeah.
They could say a witch from the Salem trials came back to life and revived him. They
Agatha
could
Harkness.
say that a nuclear explosion went off near him and the particles. I mean, they can come up with anything they want. The bottom line, though, is Killmonger is a vile, evil, genocidal maniac. There's nothing redeemable about the character. That's what makes him such a great villain and why he was so awesome. So, I mean, yeah, you could bring him back to life. Sure, this is the Marvel fake death universe. You can bring anybody back to life. The question isn't about, well, they can't bring him back because they can't come up with a logical way to do it. You can have a million, you and I together, Al, we could come up with 1,000 ways in a Marvel universe they could bring him back to life. That's not the question. The question is, it's narratively preposterous to say he comes back and becomes Black Panther. It just makes no sense. All right, what's next?
From Ryder, Joker in 2024 might allow Joaquin more time to lose weight in a healthier way than the last time, which was only a few months.
Oh, that's true.
I saw
mean,
pictures of him though, like reading scripts. It's not like he's Ryan Reynolds fat.
right. Yeah.
Like, it's
well,
not-
not a lot of people are Ryan Reynolds.
No,
fat.
I mean, that's
I mean, you got to
difficult-
work to get that fat.
That's a lot of pie.
He really
Yeah.
should send us all his aviation gin to help him with his fitness goals.
That's right. This right here, this is the Ryan Reynolds weight loss program.
That's-
Bottle after bottle of aviation gin. By the way, did you see the joke in Harley Quinn?
I'm not caught up.
There is a gold moment in Harley Quinn where James Gunn is looking at his text messages and somebody says,
An animated James Gunn.
animated James Gunn
I
in
love it.
Harley Quinn.
I love it.
And it's somebody, I can't remember some celebrity wrote to him. It's Ryan Reynolds again, desperately trying to get you to try his gin.
That's wonderful.
And I'm
I
like,
love it.
Oh my God, that was so good.
That's promotion you can't buy.
No,
or
I mean-
maybe he did. I
I
don't
said,
know.
back to the question. Yeah, we saw pictures. Remember, they released pictures of Joaquin Phoenix reading the Joker 2 script. He doesn't have a lot of weight to lose. So I think he's already good. All right, what's next?
From James Argenta, rumor is it that Marwan Kenzari, Jafar, Aladdin 2019, Old Guard, is playing the main villain in Black Adam. Also Deadpool for Loki season 2.
I don't see them bringing Deadpool into a Disney Plus, but who knows? I don't know about that. First of all, I thought he was great as a very different Jafar. And I liked Old Guard is one of the very few Netflix original films that I actually really quite enjoy.
Super fun.
And they said they're doing a sequel to that, right?
They are.
So, I mean, yeah, I like him. I liked him in Jafar. Look, again, I have no reason to believe that that's true, but if it is, I'd be all for it. All right, what's next?
From Josh Kahn. Hi, John and crew.
Hi.
Just checked out part 1 of 5 of the Making of Arcane series that's coming out this month.
Oh, wow.
I love behind the scenes content, so seeing the process how Arcane was made will be interesting.
Oh wow, I would watch. I love behind the scenes stuff.
When it's done right, I still believe it. I thought maybe I said it just because I had just watched the show, but now it's like a year since it finished. Arcane is the greatest animated series I've ever seen.
What, that wasn't it like an art book that they sent you to that we were flipping through
Yeah,
one day here?
we've got. Yeah, they sent us the art of Arcane, the series,
Beautiful.
and it's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. But the animation is great, all that kind of stuff. But it is Game of Thrones in an animated world, as good as Game of Thrones did it. I mean, that's why I really do believe still a year later that I think this is the greatest animated series ever.
Well, that's what animation is pushing for right now, too, when you talk to casting directors like Andrea Toyas, who say, I don't want to hear you do a goofy voice. I want to hear you be a great actor. I want you to sound like you're on Game of Thrones and have that level of commitment. And I love that.
All right, what's next?
From Cydia Swift. John, you're entering Tim Hortons,
Yep.
and right as you open the door, you hear shouting, and you see Ezra Miller berating Jennifer Garner. As her eyes begin to water, she looks over at you. What do you do?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, well, listen. here's
Speaking
the
of
thing.
hall passes.
The
Pretty sure Jennifer Garner would kick Ezra Miller's
yeah,
ass.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
for
Jennifer
sure. She
Garner
would
kick
body slam him John
most of
Cena
our
style.
asses. Okay, but honestly, here's the thing: a little known thing that Americans don't understand about Canadians. Like, we are super polite and we're super this, that, and the other thing. I've clearly been infected by living in the U.S. so long. That's why I'm not as Canadian as I used to be. But I mean, we are. But part of that is that we insist on politeness
Yes.
and good manners. Here's the thing. In Canada, if you walked into a Tim Hortons and some guy was getting into the face of a woman like that, that guy is being carried out of a Tim Hortons, because mostly Canadians don't tolerate that. And so if a guy like that's why, I mean, I've told the story, but like in our neighborhood in Canada, like everybody lovely people in our neighborhood, right? But the word got out that a guy in our neighborhood beat up a woman. That guy got dealt with. I mean, that's just because Canadians are not only we insist on proper behavior. So, I mean, it's, it wouldn't go well.
They will
for Ezra
Lorena
Miller.
Bob at you.
But
if you
again, as
do that.
they pointed out, have you seen like Jennifer Garner?
Yeah.
He would destroy Ezra Miller. She would completely destroy Ezra Miller. All right, what's next?
She just flick him.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
From Johnny Got Lost. I hope Nakia is Black Panther. I don't think Letitia can carry a franchise this big, but Lupita can.
Well, to me, it's not about. I think Letitia Wright is a fine actress, absolutely fine. Of course, Lupita Nyong'o is an Academy Award-winning actress, sure, but to me, it's about narrative, right? Nakia is a warrior. She is one of the senior members of her tribe. She could have been put forward as a challenge to the throne in Black Panther 1, but says, what is she part of? The River Tribe, I think? The River Tribe will not challenge today, right? So, but she could have had a claim to that. She is a warrior. She is an international espionage expert. That's what she is. Shuri is a lab rat. And one of my top 3 or 4 favorite characters in the MCU, because she is the smartest character in the MCU, but there is nothing about her that allows her to be Black Panther. So again, I could totally see Nakia. I'm still putting my money on that M'Baku is the Black Panther by the end of the movie. I think by the end of I think that we're going to have different people maybe try to take up the mantle, but by the end, M'Baku is going to be.
I don't even understand why the Shuri conversation. Is it because of the?
She's a sister.
She's a sister, and in the comics, Shuri does take
Yes,
over
in
for
the
him
comics, she
when
does
he-
become
okay.
Black Panther. Yeah.
he
All that
gets put into a
canon
coma
stuff.
by Doctor Doom, and so she takes over for a while. So that's one of the
blah
reasons
blah blah. Source material,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
From Nash Preds 99, sending in a $20 super chat. Thanks,
Oh,
Nash.
thank you, man.
Part of the issue with the HBO Max chaos yesterday, I think, was partly due to sites like Variety and Vulture running headlines and articles saying that HBO Max has been removing HBO Max movies for the last few weeks. Second part here from
I
Nash.
found it, but it's just up here.
Okay.
La la la. Elevator music.
Along with all the stuff that Zaslav has been canceling. It also didn't help that the rap article that was going around was mostly behind a paywall, so most people couldn't read it. The headline scared everyone.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So with Deadline, or the rap article, I should say, you could see the headline, and then a lot of people couldn't read the article. That's fine, but again, we shouldn't get carried away with the headlines. But yes, one of the things that they did was there are 6 HBO. We touched on this yesterday. There were 6 original HBO Max movies that they removed, and they removed them for 2 very important reasons. Number 1, nobody watched them. And number 2, because of the way the contracts are on that, they still had to pay people for those being up there. And they were like, nobody is signing up to HBO Max to watch any of these movies, and we're paying out money month after month. It may not have been a huge amount of money, but we're having to pay out month after month finances in this. This doesn't make business sense. Let's remove it and lease it or license it out to other content providers who are desperate for content if they want to. So that just made good business sense. We were talking about literally 6 movies that nobody was watching. So when you look at what the axe of Zaslav has been cutting, it's been stuff nobody is watching, stuff that was a terrible idea to begin with, stuff that, from all reports and everything that I have personally heard from the people that I have talked to, were turning out to be horrible movies that was going to damage the quality reputation of DC moving forward, and this was going to be bad for our brand moving forward. The stuff they've been cutting is stuff that's needed to be cut. But you're right. I think you brought up a really good point that I think the paywall part of the Wrap article had something to do with it, but it doesn't excuse us, because I'm guilty of it too. I am guilty of it too. It doesn't excuse people like me and all of us still just read a headline and then we'll go bonkers over it, right? So we do got to be a little bit careful of it, because we've all, including myself, have been guilty of that. All right, what's next?
From Amin, based on the current schedule, I think Deadpool could appear in either Blade or Daredevil. What % chance do you give him appearing in each of those?
Daredevil, 5%. Blade, 40%. Like, I think Blade is a legitimate possibility. But there are other projects too. Remember, there were a lot of empty slots on that Marvel Phase 6 graphic, right? A lot of empty places there. Again, D23 bombs will be dropped. Bombs will be dropped at D23. And maybe the Deadpool thing is going to be part of that. All right, good question. What's next?
From Suthius, I hope they go into production of an Aquaman, Namor, King Shark, and the Deep team-up extravaganza. Imagine the interactions. It'll make all the money.
I'll be there. I'll be there
God,
opening
the
damn
Deep
day.
is so. Oh my God, I can't.
As long as they kill the Deep at the end,
Yeah.
or anywhere in the movie.
I
You know
just
what's
can't even
weird?
deal with that character.
Here's the thing, though, about that show. They take these characters, who some are the most despicable, awful characters, and yet they will find ways at times, even with Homelander, to make you feel empathy for them at times, only to go back to showing you, no, this is really a horrible, shallow person. Like, oh my.
But
like,
that's true with people. I think people
Yeah.
in general are not like like people are not really, really good or really, really bad. There's always something that's like, if someone's really, really bad, well, what trauma caused them to act that way? And then you're like, oh, well, maybe if I had gone through that, well, no, they're just a piece of shit. They should get some therapy.
like, what was the name? What was the name of the squid that he had to eat?
Oh God, that was so horrible.
Right, but
oh my
he's-
God, that was such an like.
He's pleading for his life. He has kids.
He has a family.
He has a family. Oh, like so
But you actually felt like
you felt bad for him there, right?
you felt. Oh my God, yeah, that's a crazy thing that they are able to do. And Homelander, absolutely. When you look at how he was, when you look at his backstory of how he was as a child and how he didn't have a father, and then the big reveal, which I'm not going to say, but I'm assuming everybody has seen it right now.
We'll stay away.
Okay,
from
we'll
that.
stay away from it. But like, it just makes you go, oh, like I don't know
Well,
how
what
it
about
should.
that one line when they're doing the televised birthday special, and some guy in the audience goes, "Hey, Homelander, your Nazi's dead." Oh, like this is the most horrible, awful character on television, and my heart broke for him.
Not mine.
Yeah.
Not
Like-
mine. I was like, yeah.
But I mean, that's part of the brilliance of the show. They are constantly moving you emotionally through a different spectrum. We can sit here and talk about
The
how great
octopus
the
was
voice
named
is all
Timothy,
day.
by the way.
Oh, Timothy.
Timothy.
So,
That's right.
moment of
Good
silence for
name.
Timothy.
All right, what's next?
Jay Bling. Sorry if this was already said, but Sony could use some Zaslab's discipline with some of their Spider-Verse projects, excluding Into the Spider-Verse.
I mean, yeah, but if like a lot of people wanted when they announced they were doing a Venom movie. I know we've said this a lot, but the chorus amongst the fandom was, you can't do a Venom movie without Spider-Man. No one's going to go see it. No one's going to go care. That movie was hell of a lot of fun, and it made over $800 million at the box office. Morbius, yeah. Listen, good idea. I thought Morbius was a good idea. I thought that's a really cool character. You went out and got an Academy Award-winning actor. I mean, that's a good idea. But yes, if Zaslav maybe had been around when they saw the script, say, are you kidding me with this? Go back and do it again.
Guys, could we put some fucking blood in this vampire movie?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
And listen, I have hope for Kraven. I do. I especially after seeing Bullet Train with
Aaron Taylor
Johnson. Especially after watching that, I'm starting to get excited for Kraven, but I was also very excited for Morbius, and look how that turned out. All right, what's next?
From Blake62, I'm enamored with light and magic. If Macquarie had drawn things differently, do we even get Star Wars? It's a miracle that movie ever happened.
Seriously, if you guys have not started to watch, if you like making up stuff,
Yeah.
Light and Magic, the new docu-series. Is it 6 parts?
Yes.
I think 6-part
Yeah.
docu-series on Disney Plus about the formation, how it all got started, the Industrial Light and Magic. How Star Wars got made is nothing short of a miracle. It's absolutely nuts. It has been brilliant, and you're right. It's been fantastic. I'm still only 2 episodes in.
I'm texting Tom literally
I was
right
gonna
now.
say, it should be
and
really
Magic,
good for you and Tom to
will-
watch together.
If you love that stuff, I still don't know how they got half the footage that they've got in this thing, but it's one of the most fabulous things I've watched in a while, so can't wait to watch the rest of it. All right, what's next?
From Daniel Dang, HBO proper shows premiere on HBO the cable network and streamed on HBO Max and released on Blu-ray. Max originals are only streamed on HBO Max.
I'm confused.
Right. So we're getting to some very finite minutia of what differentiates this from. Again, I think Peacemaker was an HBO Max original, I believe.
I think you're right, yeah.
The upcoming Game of Thrones is an HBO series that will also, of course, be an HBO Max. Again, we like you see the redundancies, right? Like they need to pare this down. All right, well brought up though. All right, what's next?
From Valley, has anyone seen Garland's Men? Creepy. Didn't catch it.
I had no interest in it. I had no, the trailers I thought were terrible, even though I love his other work. And then I heard from some people who saw like really early screenings of it, and the friends I talked to didn't like it. So I'm like, yeah, I just put it off my radar. So I never did. Any of you guys see
I don't even
Men?
see it on IMDb unless
the
I'm
trailers were
It's
just
called
like,
Men.
oh,
Yeah,
like,
the title is just
it
Men.
seems interesting of having the same actor be all those men and everything.
Oh, right.
But also when you watch the trailer, it's men making a woman feel uncomfortable while
Yeah,
she's alone.
no,
I
not
can just
interested.
go anywhere.
I can go to a
just live
bar
my
on
life
Friday and get that.
experience that.
All right, what's
Bring a book
next?
to a restaurant. It's exactly that.
All right, what's next?
From Zach
What are you
Marcello,
reading?
How to Build a Sex Dungeon.
So you
Leave me
like-
alone. Let me read my book. I'm an architect. Zach Marcello,
Can I
right?
take this chair?
Zach Marcello. All I know is that D23 can't get here fast enough. With all this Marvel talk and speculation, I can't wait.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I have submitted our press credential requests for D23. If they get approved, like I'll book us hotels. We'll go there, all that kind of stuff. And I was at the last D23. We'll see. I don't know if not David Zaslav. I don't know if Bob Chapek is going to allow me to get any press credentials.
I mean, do we even need hotels? We just drive there.
I mean, we could. I prefer
commute
just
It's
getting
here
in
is
this.
like literally
Anaheim.
going
That's like
to
a
Anaheim.
45-minute
Aaron and I
drive.
are getting
You
a
better get the
hotel.
hotel.
Get the hotel. Yeah. But
Is
Is there a
we will-
Four Seasons in Anaheim?
I think it's a Hilton that's connected to it, though.
Or is there a Four
I think-
Seasons? Because maybe we could get us at the Four Seasons.
Just get us to the Disneyland hotel. I just want to go to that tiki bar every night.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
Tiki bar.
I love that Tiki Hotel. You get the tropical storm drink and the whole bar, like the lights go out. And I might have ordered that drink too many times.
I don't drink alcohol, so I've never
Want
had
to go
it.
to there.
But here's the thing.
We'll go.
Last D23, I bring it up all the time. It was bomb after bomb after bomb. And so we're doing a Moon Knight show. Blah, everybody says, wow, I can't top this. And we're doing a She-Hulk show. Blah, blah, blah. And we're doing a Ms. Marvel. Blah. And then Ewan McGregor comes strange. I'm Obi-Wan again. Blah. And everybody's like, it was bomb after bomb after bomb. And I don't think D23 this time is going to be anything short of that. But we'll find out. All right, what's next?
From Jay Bling, regarding Ryan Reynolds' schedule, isn't he filming John Krasinski's If in the fall? I'd have to guess a 2023 filming schedule for Deadpool 3.
Here's the thing. People forget. Making a movie, long time. Shooting a movie, not that long of a time. A lot of actors, the majority of their feature films will be like a 2-month block that they book off, 8 to 12 weeks that they block off. There's a reason sometimes you see on some years for Dwayne The Rock Johnson that he literally had 4 movies coming out in a year because you can shoot that many movies. So having 1 or 2 projects on the go does not actually preclude them, unless it's like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. They book the actors for like 11 months straight. I mean, that's a little bit different. But for most movie commitments, it's like 10, 12, 14 weeks. You can shoot multiple films.
And especially if it's just an air, like I just had sent in an audition for a film today and it would start October 8th for 25 days. Like, I mean, that's a smaller, budget film. It's obviously, not Deadpool 3, but a lot of times if it's just a straight narrative film and there's not a ton
like
of
John Krasinski's.
like John Krasinski's, and there's not a ton of locations. If it's location small, then it is possible to do the entire production in a very short period of time. And we also don't know, is he playing the lead in that movie? If he's not in every single scene, they could also, his role might be condensed to maybe just a couple of weeks out of the entire production. We don't know exactly how big of a role he's playing.
By the way, my buddy Kyle Newman, he just directed a new film that's on Amazon right now called One Up. We've talked about the thing. They shot that film in a little over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just,
It happens.
again, all right, what's next?
Can we scroll down a little bit?
1 second. There you go.
Thank you. Alex Mercer, the prototype. I know that EA has a bad reputation, but I'm kind of excited for a Black Panther game. If they could get Respawn Entertainment to do it, I'm down for it.
Listen, with all the well-deserved negative press that EA's gotten, let's not forget, EA has made some fantastic games. They have made some fantastic games. So I'm not going to, discount any game, especially if it is a Black Panther game, just because their name's attached to it, because they have done some really, really good stuff. All right, what's next?
From Hero 75, the John Campea Show, plus an afternoon of woodwork, plus Bullet Train in the evening, plus Critical Role at night. Great day off for me.
That
is a great day
sound
off.
like a fun day. By the way, first of all, Bullet Train, I reviewed it the other day. I had a lot of fun with it. Not as good as the Guy Ritchie films it's clearly inspired by, but I still had a really good time. I hope you do too.
I like that. I might actually go home and get some woodwork myself. Thank you for that.
But I just talked about how Arcane, to me, I think is the greatest. Oh boy, here we go. Is the greatest animated series I've ever seen. Critical Role's animated series,
Vox Machina.
Vox Machina, is really fun. And now, granted, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons guy, so clear I'm a little biased. But honestly, I believe it's on Amazon. It's an Amazon Prime show. If you haven't seen Vox Machina, I think you're going to have a good time watching. It's pretty fun. All right, what's next?
From Samuel Phoenix, will WB make DC series like Marvel?
I don't think so. I think Zaslav is making it kind of clear that DC properties deserve the big screen treatment. And I think they're going to move away from series and just focus on giving them big blockbuster. I think that's why one of the first things they did was they took the Blue Beetle thing and said, hey, this is actually looking really good. We're not putting this on HBO Max. We're putting this in theaters. So I think that's the future for it, but I don't know that for sure, but that looks like the way they want to go. All right, what's next?
From Bobby Jackson, hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Did you ever end up having a chance to watch the Black Panther teaser? If so, what did you think?
Oh
yeah,
my
you watched
gosh.
that in my office with me.
Yes, last week after the show last week, John showed me the trailer and he didn't videotape it, but if he had, you would have seen
Tears.
It was so moving. I mean, the imagery, not only when you see clearly that the actors and the characters were blending of life and fiction, in that their pain was so palpable over the loss of their friend Chadwick Boseman, but also you see that bleeding onto the screen. And I thought that the way that was done, and to be able to receive that much of that emotion, that raw emotion in the trailer, was incredible. But also the imagery that of the history that America has as well. I won't go too much into it. If you've seen it, then you obviously know. There was so much imagery that is similar to what we've experienced, to what Black people have experienced in our country and throughout the globe. It was so moving on so many levels. I said to John, I said, there is no question in my mind that as brilliant as Black Panther was, the sequel, I think, is going to be even more impressive than the original. And I rarely think that or say that about any sequel. I am so looking forward to this film, and I will bring a big box of tissues with me.
So there's a little bit of an online movement right now. It hasn't gotten, I don't think, a lot of exposure yet, but I think me and Ann are going to participate in it. So there's a funeral scene in the trailer where everybody's wearing white. And there's a thing online right now saying Black Panther wear white. And I think a lot of people, they're saying, so opening night when you guys go to theaters, wear white. And so I think I'm ordering like a white suit. I'm going to order like a white suit. And I think Anne's going to get a white dress. And when we go to see it, whether it's at the, I don't know that I'm going to go to the premiere, whether it's at the premiere or the opening night at the local AMC, I think we're going to go wearing white. And
Chris and I will have to get something in eggshell because,
Yeah, eggshell. All right.
I'm curious to know. Brady Iyer, I have not seen any Predator movies. Should I watch the previous Predator movies before watching Prey? Or does the movie do a good job of reintroducing the Predator?
You 100% don't need to see previous Predator movies to watch Prey. And what, Ray, can you look up what is the Rotten Tomatoes meter right now for Prey? The last I checked, I think it was 94% was the last one. And by the way, it's Prey, Prey.
93.
It's at 93 now. So with how many reviews?
92.
So yeah, 93%. It's great. Now, there are some people saying it's better than the original. I don't necessarily go that, personally, I don't go that far, but it's easily the best Predator movie since the original. It's very, very well done. It handles it really well. And again, no, you don't have to have seen any other Predator movies, but do yourself a favor. Watch the original Arnold one. All right, what's next?
From In My Humble Opinion Reviews, The Wonder Twins directed by James Gunn. Your move, John.
Yep, I'd be there. Because if it's directed by James Gunn, that tells you something immediately.
Yeah, it's gonna be very different than what it would be if it was just like the Wonder Twins.
Yeah, no, if James Gunn was doing it, you already know that they're gonna take this with a very tongue-in-cheek approach. They're gonna, like, if it was James Gunn.
He'd be giving us that Young Justice schniz, where he'd be like, turn into water that can drown an entire room full of people. Oh, that episode's so good. So
yeah,
good.
if it's James Gunn, then it would be a completely different kind of movie. But yeah, anything short of that, maybe Steven Spielberg. I'm like, F no. No, like fire immediately the people who greenlit that, which they probably did. All right, what's next?
Oh, it's not Young Justice. It's Justice League Unlimited. That's when it happens. Sucked. Disney Plus should create a Shadows of the Empire series with Jensen Ackles as Dash Rendar. What says you?
No.
No Dash Rendar?
No Dash Rendar or no Jensen Ackles or
no, that's outside of canon and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's a non sequitur. It's just you can't start there with that. But listen, I'm a big fan of Jensen Ackles. Obviously, I'll watch it, especially him as Soldier Boy was so good. All right, what's next?
From Attack of the Mushi. How was the hot tub and ILM last night?
Didn't do it because so last night the idea was Ann and I were going to sit in the hot tub and drag the TV that we have on rollers outside in the backyard and just watch Light and Magic. What we ended up doing though is we are converting, I'll give you guys a tour of it. We have converted our garage, which was the John Campea Show studio for a long time. We have converted it now into a full-fledged theater room. And we've got the screen up now. We had people coming in and calibrating it yesterday, 120-inch screen in there. We got everything all set up, but we needed the furniture still. So Ann and I decided instead last night that we went out and we bought the furniture. We found and bought the furniture for it. Jonathan and Taylor are going to go over to the theater today and hang the new sound panels in there. I can't wait to show it to you guys.
I don't even know what kind of, I've never had to calibrate a television in my life. And so I'm like, either I am not watching television correctly, or I've just never been that kind of baller where I've had a television that requires calibration. So both of these things are making me feel very insecure and inferior right now. So I'm just going to move into this house.
But the whole idea, the whole way this theater room started off is that the folks at Hisense were kind enough to send me for free. So I didn't have to buy it. That's the key thing. I didn't have to buy it. They sent me this $5,000 laser short throw projector.
Fuck yeah, they did.
And it's once we realized, this thing's pretty, I'll do a full review of it once we get the room set up and everything, but they sent that to me for free. So we thought, well, we've got this empty garage that we had converted into a studio available to us. What do we do with it? Theater room. Now that they sent us that projector. So yeah, I can't wait to give you guys a tour of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, what's next?
From Brady Iyer, Ron Howard's 13 Lives drops tomorrow on Prime Video.
Oh, that's it. Tomorrow that comes out. Yeah, I've been hearing some mixed things about it.
Oh.
Some people I've read really liked it. Some people thought just came out the documentary was way superior, which who knows, maybe those are just snooty people go, the book is better. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched it yet myself, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. All right, what's next?
From Santiago Lugo, how can they do a Moon Knight season with 2 Emmy nominations?
I don't know if they'll have the Emmy nominations rescinded. I mean, because again, it's in the best limited series category. So, I mean, if it does get nominations and stuff like that, and it does come out that they're doing a season 2, they might, the Academy of Television, they may take back those nominations. I mean, and listen, I'll say it straight up. They should take them back because, you don't actually qualify for that category anymore. Take it out. We'll see what happens. All right, what's next?
From Devin, Doctor Strange is the cool uncle of the MCU.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I actually I'll allow that analogy.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that kind of works.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw, what is your dream scenario of how Feige announces Deadpool 3 at D23? I want to see Celine Dion and
Yep.
Jackman sing Ashes together while Deadpool comes down from the ceiling on a swing.
How-
That is what we pitched on the show.
How Ashes did not get nominated for Best Song at the Academy Awards is still very confounding to me. That song is glorious. It goes great with the movie itself. It checks all the boxes. If you guys have not seen Celine Dion's music video with Ryan Reynolds in it for Can Beauty Come Out of Ashes, or the song's just called Ashes. It's an amazing song. But yes, that's totally how they should do it. A big, cables with a giant platform descending from the thing of Celine Dion on it, singing Ashes. And as it gets to the ground, Hugh Jackman comes out from behind the thing, because of course he is
harmonize.
a marvelous vocalist, and starts singing Ashes along with her. And then as they're singing it, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool dancing out ballerina style. Do you have it there? Don't get us copyright stricken.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Like Ryan Reynolds comes like ballerinaing out like they do in the music video. I mean, that's how you announce it. What are you doing over there?
I'm sorry. I don't know
Delay.
how technology works.
That's how they
I
do
need
it.
to calibrate my computer.
That's how they do it. I hope that's how they do it. All right, what's next?
From Ulaton, was Chloé Zhao's prestige as a director diminished with the mixed reception of Eternals? I personally loved the film and what she did with it.
I don't think so. She's an
Academy Award
She
winner.
has what very, very few people on this planet have ever had. She has an Academy Award for Best Director on her mantle. And what she did, listen, when you look at Eternals as well, you had how many main characters?
Like 8,000.
7 or 8
Yeah.
main characters. I mean, that is not to do in one movie. There's not a lot of directors who could have walked into that and done much better than what Chloe Zhao did with it. So if you're asking me, I don't think so at all. Unless people who just don't know anything about movie making. I mean, sure, maybe for them, and a lot of people are, well, what was the last thing you put out? Well, and listen, most people, let's be honest, most people who watched Eternals never watched American
The movie that
Oh,
she
the one with Frances McDermott.
where she won her Academy Award for.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's about leading the nomad life. It's not
Nomadland.
Nomadland. So it's
There we
not
go.
American Nomad.
Wow.
The
Nomadland.
Let's be
Circle
honest,
gets square.
most people who saw Eternals didn't see Nomadland. And so they don't really know how good of a director she really is. So that's just my opinion. All right, what's next?
From Raymond Villarda. In light of the Batgirl shelving, I hope Nick Cage puts on his John Schnepp Superman suit and says, I'm going to steal the Batgirl and Flash films from the WB vault. Shakes his hands and is gone in a second.
Or 60 seconds.
Or 60,
Or
yeah.
gone in 60 seconds. I mean, God, if you guys haven't seen John Schnepp's documentary, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, where this close, they were weeks away from starting shooting Nicolas Cage's Superman movie. I mean, and Schnepp's got footage of Nicolas Cage in his costume test.
Wait, and this is called what?
The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. You got to watch Schnepp's doc. It's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but it really is fantastic. You got to check that out. All right, what's next?
From Rafael Castillo. I stayed up past 2 a.m. to finish The Terminal List. I had low expectations, and I was surprised at how great it was. 8 terrific, thrilling episodes.
I'll tell you what, Raphael, I am a big Chris Pratt fan. And, I on a personal level as well, you guys know. But I've not had a chance to start watching Terminal List yet. But everybody I've talked to, and from you guys, everybody who has written in about it has been saying it's really quite good. So I got to get on that as soon as I can. Once I watch RRR first. I still haven't watched RRR. That will take priority over Terminal List. But once I watch RRR, then I will start Terminal List. All right, what's next?
From Jay Master. John, the TikToker is actually Mohamed Diab's daughter after that Moon Knight director Mohamed Diab posted his daughter TikTok video on his Twitter. Okay, so his daughter posted the video on TikTok.
Oh, so that was his daughter who posted it, because Diab also retweeted it. He retweeted it, and I think his retweet was Moon Knight 2 or something like that. So, I mean, listen, all signs point to that's what they're doing. So what happens with the Emmy situation? I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw. Hashtag, do you really want to taste it?
Just thinking of it makes me happy. It just makes me happy. All right, what's next?
From Jose Andres Estrada Vaca. Wish me good luck on my permit test to DMV. You guys, thanks. Oh, good
wow.
luck.
Good luck on that.
Just remember 10 and 2, 10 and 2.
Yep, and adjust your mirrors first. They want to see that. Make sure you adjust the mirrors. 10 and
Always use
2,
your blinker.
and you'll be good. Don't have a Kamala Khan first driving test experience. Yeah, don't do
Or
that.
a share.
I don't
Oh,
know.
right. Share from Clueless. Yeah.
Or you can let the Tesla drive itself.
Oh yeah. Just
Yeah, do that. Just go to the DMV in your Tesla and just be like, I don't really need to do this because it just drives
Listen,
itself.
I'm 15 and or 16. I've got a Tesla. Let's do this.
All right, what's next?
From Raymond Fiorda. Stallone complained about the bat suit. Work out.
I don't understand.
Was Stallone ever in a bat suit?
I've never heard him complain about. I'm sorry. We're probably missing the joke. Sorry about that, Raymond. All right, what's next?
From Ben Rayner. Hi, John and crew. I'm worried about Doom Patrol. That's the one show no one is talking about right now. I hope it's coming back. I need to see what happens with Cliff and others.
Well, they're going to be building houses in a non-scripted format.
Chip, lap.
I listen. You're right. I haven't heard anybody talking about it. I've heard nothing about it. But it's had 3 seasons, 3 really great. Season 3 wasn't my favorite of the bunch so far, but it was still really, really enjoyable. If they said it was done its run, I would go, okay. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I also hope it's coming back, but I haven't heard anything about it right now. To be honest with you, I've never heard anything about the ratings on it. I don't know how many people watch it. I know I watch it, but
No.
I haven't heard
Yeah, I
anything
feel like
either.
it's one of those under the radar kind of shows that like people who watch it love the show, but it's not one of those water cooler shows that everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you just see what happened on Doom Patrol.
All right, what's next?
From Jay Master sending in a $20.
Jay Master.
Ryan Reynolds beginning training prep for Deadpool 3 or for another Marvel kind of lines with what Kevin Feige confirmed at Comic-Con. Marshall Ali Blade begins production October, less than 2 months away.
Yeah. I mean, again, but we as fans, we can always find things to line up with what we want it to line up with, right? But I absolutely, I confer with you, Jay, that this is something that is a very real possibility. Now, does Deadpool and Blade really mix stylistically? Hard to say because we haven't seen what Marvel is doing with this Blade and this Blade movie. So he could be a kind of different than what he is in the comics and all that kind of stuff. Certainly different than what they did in the Wesley Snipes version of the film. So we just don't know.
But
But if
Ryan
we're
Reynolds
having-
has been in a Blade.
I was just going to say that. If we're having all that delicious fourth wall breakage,
Yeah.
this is different this time. And I'm so glad you don't have some stupid guy here.
I mean,
Some shitty
it
Canadian.
could you're right. It could line up, maybe. Or there could be 3 or 4 other projects that are maybe just a couple more months away from starting.
Or maybe
production.
Ryan Reynolds just wants to get more jacked than he already is.
Well, he's got to do something. I mean,
You look at Blake Lively every day. You have to just probably be
Yeah.
like, God, I need to be better.
like if
pretty
my
much.
ass stays this big, Blake's going to leave me. You cannot have that. You cannot have Blake Lively leaving you.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Chef Rigo.
Jeff Rigo.
Chop, chop, chop.
It's a shame Zaslav isn't in charge at Universal. He would have axed Fast 10 after Fast 9. F your family, Dom. My axe doesn't care.
You know what? I bet even Zaslav wouldn't have axed it because the reality is that's a franchise that just prints money.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good some of the installments are or how bad Fast 9 are, they make money and Fast 10 is going to make money. And guess what? It's not connected to their DC universe, so he's not worried about it ruining the reputation of the franchise. So
Yeah.
I bet he wouldn't cut it. I bet you he wouldn't cut it. All right, what's next?
From Surjan. So the Flash TV show will have completed 9 seasons between the Flash movie announcement and release.
Wow.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day that remember, Flash is now going to end season 9. It will conclude right about when Flash, the movie, is supposed to come out. And they announced the Flash movie the week that season 1, episode 1 of The Flash dropped.
That's
It's
crazy.
been nearly a decade, getting close to a decade at
Yep.
that point. All right, what's next?
From Jay, settle a debate I was having with a friend. Best acting crop, The Wire or Game of Thrones?
Ooh.
Some of them crossed over. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's significant crossover there. Thematically, too. You know what? When I watched The Wire for the first time, because I only watched The Wire for the first time 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
Littlefinger.
I remember going, okay, not only is there a lot of Game of Thrones people in this, I remember thinking, there's a lot of themes that I think Game of Thrones. And remember, I had already watched Game of Thrones, so now I was watching The Wire for the first time. I'm like, the Game of Thrones was heavily influenced by The Wire. So I mean, it's hard to say, man. They're both They're both fantastic.
But we can also say The Wire is GOAT programming for America, Baltimore, and Game of Thrones is GOAT programming for all those European people.
And the world.
Well, yeah, but it's all like most of the characters, it's like you look down. I mean, I remember I was like yelling at my agents. I was like, why can't you get me for Game of Thrones? And they were like, they don't want Americans. There are so many talented. Right. They were like, if you live, but then Pedro Pascal, I was like, what about that guy? And they were like, you're not Pedro Pascal. Calm down. I did audition for Cersei though.
Really? I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when we were filming Spartacus and we were like trying to pronounce all these weird names. We're like, what is this? And I will say, HBO, you made the right choice. As great as that would have been, they made the right choice because Lena Headey is awesome.
All right, what's next?
From Kill the Switch 1, thoughts on who the next Black Panther is?
We spoke about that. I think several people are going to probably be Black Panther at one point or another in the film. I personally think it ends with M'Baku, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
From Andy, anytime now, Zaslav will save the Flash film by announcing that the movie will have golden boots.
That changes everything. The golden boots, everybody. Listen, it is really going to be very, very interesting to see how they handle this. Now, a lot of people, again, we touched on this yesterday, but let me bring it up again. A lot of people ask, listen, how are you killing the Batgirl movie? Fine, but not killing the Flash movie. The two big differences, of course, between the scenarios are, from all reports, the Flash movie directed by Andy Muschietti is apparently quite good. Actually, Rob's, I'm not going to say who, person connected with the project saying it's fantastic. The second big difference is that whereas you're kind of throwing 70 million, 90 million out the window with it, with Batgirl, the Flash movie is more than double that. It's like over 200 million they've have invested in that movie. So there are two radically different scenarios. However, for those of you guys who watch my show, you know I have been beyond frustrated with Warner Brothers' handling of the Ezra Miller situation before the Discovery takeover and since. And again, that's my one big point of that I feel kind of some sympathy for the new ownership of Warner Brothers, because this Ezra Miller problem is one that they inherited. Like, this wasn't their making, a problem they're making. And because the old ownership refused to address it when everything was going on, this is a situation they inherited. I don't know what they do with this. I mean, all reports are they are dedicated to releasing the Flash movie theatrically. Depending on how much more drama and nonsense comes up, they may have to revisit that. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. All right, what's next?
From Brandan Man. There we go. Hey guys, has anyone checked out The Boys animated series? If so, how is it?
I never did.
Not.
It's fun. Ray and I have watched it.
Did you
You
watch
watched
it, Ray?
some of it, right?
Which one?
The Boys?
The Boys animated
stuff?
series?
The diabolical one?
yeah.
Yeah, because we talked about the poop episode.
There's a poop episode.
Heck
Sign
yeah,
me
there.
up.
Aquafina can control poop.
Wait, Aquafina is
She's
in
the
it?
voice. It's amazing. It's so fun.
I love
It's so
Aquafina.
fun.
I just, nothing, as much as I love The Boys, nothing about the trailers looked remotely appealing to me, so I never bothered it.
And they're all very, very different stylistically, narratively. It's a fun
So it's an
ride.
anthology kind of animated series. All right.
I
I might
like
have to check
that.
it out sometime. All right. Listen, guys, we are already over time, so we're going to have to pick up the pace here. So what's next?
From Odai, just announced Poop, directed by James Gunn.
I'll tell you, I will still
I'm
be
in.
interested.
I'm in.
All right. What's next?
From Jackmaster Norad, I just wanted to say happy belated birthday to my fellow Leo brothers. By the way, Jonathan, we share the same birthday.
Wow.
When is your birthday, Jonathan?
July 27.
What? You didn't know it was you didn't tell us it was your birthday.
I didn't bring you
So that just
stats.
work.
All right.
No,
Well, actually, that's
no big deal.
good.
It's no big deal.
All right. We spend enough time on you. Let's move on.
From Alonzo
Ray, it's like, it's your birthday today?
From Alonzo Com, do you think it's possible that Namor rescued Killmonger from the ocean and that some way he comes back as Black Panther?
I think he was dead when he was dropped in the ocean. Again, Marvel doesn't need a way somebody comes back. They can make up any one of a million ways. The question is, what's the point of bringing him back? That's me. All right. What's next?
From Adam Henson, Zaslav canceling Batgirl shows true leadership and integrity. If only Sony had the same self-respect before they released Morbius. LOL.
I mean, again, what Zaslav did with Batgirl is something, it was unprecedented. Like studios, because listen, like me, I'm a pragmatist. I say, like, well, no matter how bad it is, just drop it in theater, make 30, 40, 50 million dollars that you get back, whatever. they are so committed to changing the perception of DC films, because DC films, like I said, whether you are a DC hater or somebody who really loves the DC films, we all have to acknowledge that the public perception quality-wise of DC movies is second-class citizens next to Marvel. That's the perception. Whether that's fair or not, whatever, that is the perception amongst average movie-going fans. And David Zaslav is committed, at least that's what they've said, to changing that. They want, when people think of DC movies, they want instantly to think highest quality. If that's your priority, and you've got a Batgirl movie that, number one, you think is going to make no money, and number two, you think is just going to further perpetuate the idea that DC movies aren't that good, then you need some pretty big brass ones to say, you know what? Kill it. Let's not put it out, because it does not help us work towards our goal. Our fans deserve better. Our business deserves better. The DC brand deserves better. Yeah, kill it. And we'll probably make back more money in the tax write-off than we would trying to put this thing in the theater, because no one's going to like it. And it might hurt the career of Leslie Grace, who I was super excited that she got the role of Batgirl. But if the movie's as bad as they're saying it is, this could hurt her career. I think, Chris, you were the one who brought up the great example of look what happened to Alden Ehrenreich's career. Like, yeah, he got the solo movie, but people didn't like it. So
I think it was Rob.
Or was Rob
Yeah.
brought that up? It kind of crippled his career at that point. So, yeah, great leadership. But let's not pretend like, well, why didn't all these other studios do it? Because no one's ever done it before. Like this was really an unprecedented move on their part. So let's see what happens. All right, what's next?
From Connie Jules, Joaquin Phoenix is my number one favorite actor, but my favorite performance from him is not the Joker, it's the Master. Thoughts?
I've got a listen, as terrific as he's in the Joker, totally deserved the Academy Award. I've got a couple Joaquin Phoenix roles that I actually think he's even better in. The Master, I think he got nominated for an Academy Award for that one. I Walk the Line. I mean,
Yeah.
So good in Walk the Line.
I mean, there's that one. I mean, the guy is just incredible.
I mean, you know what? I know that he was a supporting character in this, but in Gladiator, he plays that like,
As Commodus, and he got nominated for an Academy Award for it.
yeah, just like that overlooked, like you actually saw where the pain of his insecurity, like you see that it's his insecurity driving his evil. And I thought that was it almost made him a relatable character in a way. It almost made him a reason. It almost gave him a reason for us to feel compassion for him. Almost, not quite, but almost. And that's pretty hard to do with a character that on paper is just so unlikable.
All right, what's next?
From Dragaton, it's easy to cut projects, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Zaslav greenlights so we can see how effective his strategy is.
It is not easy to kill projects, especially ones that are further along. That's why we just said nobody's ever really done it before. It's a huge line in the sand that says we have our priorities and we're going to make sure we do those. Now, you're right though. What now creatively comes out of this? And it's going to take us a few years to find that out, because like, for instance, we got the Game of Thrones show coming out, but that was all put in motion before the Zaslav era, right? We've got Black Adam coming out, but that was all done before the Zaslav era. It's going to be a few years before we see that. And I think you are asking the billion-dollar question. Okay, he's making some good moves to try to position themselves, call off the weak stuff, get rid of the stuff that's hurting us, hurting our reputation, all that kind of stuff. But the question becomes, okay, that's great. You're getting rid of the crap. But can you grow the roses? Can you make the good stuff? Under your leadership, can we see premium programming? And it's going to be about 2 or 3 years before we really are able to answer that question. But it's the right question to ask. All right, what's next?
From Blake62, Zaslav calls and says, John, just for you, I'll make one. Man of Steel 2 or the Batfleck Batman movie. Choose.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
He didn't say they couldn't have cameos in their movies.
Okay, but I'll take it in the spirit in which it was addressed.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, because with Cavill as Superman, you're talking about him acting as Superman. With Affleck's Batman, you're talking a movie that he had written, was directing, and was going to star in.
I'll take Batfleck.
I'll go with the Batfleck one. I know that's really weird to say, but again, I'm just getting more bang for my buck with that, because it's Affleck's script. It's his directing it. it's his starring in it. Because Cavill is my favorite Superman of all time. Ben Affleck is actually my favorite Batman of all time. So I'll go, oh, it pains me to say it, but I will go with the Batfleck one.
Somewhere, Henry Cavill is clutching his chest and he's not sure quite
I know,
why.
Cavill's screaming at his computer screen, you're dead to me, Campea. You're dead to me. All right, what's next?
Okay, hear me out. Watch Mad Max for the first time. It was a more personal story than I thought. Liked that he didn't show the aftermath of Goose and his wife.
I mean, listen, a lot of people I've talked to over the years who watch Mad Max for the first time, and that's not really what I was kind of expecting. You're right. It is a little bit different. It's like people who saw Aliens. A lot of people saw Aliens who never saw Alien. And then when they do go back and watch Alien, they're like, that was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of a thing. Like, do you guys have any thoughts on that, the original Mad Max or Alien, and how it's just different? Or have you had a movie experience like that where you've seen a classic movie a lot of people talked about and it just didn't end up being what you were expecting at all?
Well, you know, I've always been, as we all know here, a huge Grease 2 fan. And so when I went back and saw the original Grease, I was like, wow, that's
Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer straddling a ladder singing Cool Rider.
Oh, it's so good. It's iconic.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
We're
What's
talking
happening?
about Grease 2.
Yeah. No, Mad Max, the original. And Grace Jones is in that, right?
No, she's in Thunderdome.
Gosh, darn it, I was so close. Yeah, I remember seeing Mad Max so long ago when I was a kid, like probably way too young to have I should probably not have been able to watch that. But yeah, it's a classic movie and definitely something that if you enjoyed Fury Road, go back and watch the original. I think I remember loving it.
By the way, one of our live viewers, Noah A, is mentioning that, hey, Mad Max Fury Road, I think I say the original Mad Max Fury Road is available to watch for free on Tubi right now, in case you want to go and watch that one.
Ooh.
All right, what's next?
I'd also just say people are often surprised by the first Rocky because they think, it's just going to be an action flick, and it's really a heartwarming, like, personal story.
The best Rocky.
And more surprisingly than that, I'd say even First Blood, people think, well,
Yes, that's
That's a
another
great
big one.
one.
not
Yeah.
like that at all.
Yep, very different from all the other Rambo
Yeah,
movies,
it's a
for
great
sure.
story.
That's a great example. All right, what's next?
From James Hoffman, experienced reserved seating for the first time. It's great. Saw Thor. Fun, but too goofy in my opinion.
Where do you live that you have not had the experience of reserved seat?
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of years when I was at the movie blog, like, whereas my kind of personal campaign with the movie industry right now is shorten the number of trailers. It's too long. You're ruining the movie going experience. Before it was, why are we still living in the dark ages and don't have pre-assigned seating at movie theaters? Everywhere else in the world has it. Like, I remember having to go watch one of the Wolverine movies and, like, literally having to go for opening night. I had to go 2 hours early
Crazy.
so I could stand on the sidewalk to make sure I didn't get a terrible seat.
Yep.
That's stupid. And there's still some theaters that don't. So that's kind of crazy that you only had your first experience with that. You're right. It changes everything. It's so great. I'm glad I never go back. All right, what's next?
From Terry McGinnis. Yes.
Yes.
Canceling Batgirl on the wedding day of one of the directors is harsh. Oh my gosh. I like those directors. I hope they stay away from WB.
I didn't realize that. That's just
Yeah, it was on one of they found
my
out on one
God.
of their wedding days. Yeah.
That's not. Oh
Yeah.
God, that's.
I'll go on a
brutal.
limb and bet they didn't realize that.
Of course not. But I hope that everyone like did the right thing and just was like, don't say anything, and that they had given their phone to someone else. That's what we did on our wedding day. I was
Yeah.
like, I gave my phone to my mom. Tom gave his phone to his dad, and I was like, there is no piece of information that we need to know today.
I go back to this though, with all due respect to those guys and everything like that. They're owed nothing. They're owed nothing.
Sure,
Like, and I'm glad you're here right now for this, because one of the analogies I brought up is like,
you're firing me.
you know, they should have put it out because all those people worked so hard on it. Well, that's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. And what I brought up yesterday, and I'm glad you're here for this, is, do you know how many pilots get made for TV shows? We're talking about projects that there are people that has been their lifelong passion. It's been their lifelong dream to get this idea for a show that they've probably had for decades made. And then actors and actresses get hired with dreams that if this gets picked to series, we have a new career in front of us and blah, blah. Do you know how many pilots get made every year? They go through the whole thing, they produce it, whatever, made, blah, blah, and then the network says, no, we're not going to air it.
You know, it's so funny. I was actually talking about this just this morning. So my friend for 20 years and now my co-star on Nancy Drew, Riley Smith, he's a phenomenal actor. Look him up on IMDb. He has 5 bajillion credits. Riley Smith, he was also on Nashville and he's on Nancy Drew now. He has probably done like, I want to say 10 to 15 pilots that never got picked up to series. And my husband, Tom, has done multiple pilots that never got picked up to series. And that is one of the...
Didn't you do a pilot with William Fichtner?
That was a pilot presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
A little bit different. All right.
Yeah, very different. But yeah, you're literally going, okay, if this one decision, if this happens, if it goes one way or another, a heads or tails flip of the coin, I'm either going to be able to pay off all my credit card debt or my student loans, not have to eat ramen noodles, maybe move out of my $2,000 a month studio apartment and move into an actual decent living place. And I'm going to be able to have a life, or back to another audition, back on unemployment. And it's, of course, many people put a lot of work into that, shooting a pilot for a month to 2 months, sometimes doing reshoots. A lot of work goes into that. And as you said, sometimes these pilot stories are, the genesis was a writer's true lived experience. And they're just told, meh, we don't want to watch that. And so, and those never see the light of day. There's no place that there's no network that you can go, let me see all the failed pilots. So, this happens a lot. It just does suck because you don't see it happening as much in the movie industry.
And it's not present to us. Like, we as the fans don't see that that's happening. Like, every day people's dreams get shot. But I also want to point out one other thing too. Like, yeah, the directors worked hard on it and they got paid. But the reality is this too. Warner Brothers was in a position that they were going to have to spend another $30 to $50 million to finish the film.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it was in the Deadline article that they were still tens of millions of dollars away from actually finishing it because the budget on that thing had ballooned. Then, even if they wanted to try to drop it in the theater to get money, they were going to need another $30 to $50 million to think. So it's like, okay, great, you worked hard on something. That does not obligate us to drop and lose tens of millions of more dollars on this project.
You know what this is? This is like a couple realizing a month before the wedding, oh God, no, we do not need to get married, and then canceling the wedding. You don't owe the wedding to the guests. Like, the guests are not obligated.
Throw the wedding and let
that.
us decide if you should stay together or not.
Exactly. You know what? If the people involved go, oh yeah, this is not going to work out for us, and we're going to try to cut our losses as much as possible. Sorry, everyone. I know you were really looking forward to a destination wedding in Fiji. We've decided to cancel the wedding.
Well, see,
I'm still going to go to Fiji though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Here's a
tickets.
personal example of mine. It's on a much smaller scale, obviously, but I had turned down several gigs because Lionsgate approached me about starting a show called Film HQ that was going to go on their new streaming service, Comic-Con HQ. And I had turned down a number of opportunities that were going to be really good, busted my ass. Everybody who worked with me on it busted their asses and all that kind of stuff. And we got through X number of episodes, but they decided to cancel the show because it wasn't generating revenue and all that kind of stuff. I could have gone and said, but I worked really hard on this and I turned down other things to do this. That's great. But at the end of the day, it's their show. Mm-hmm. They paid the bills, and me working my ass off did not obligate them to continue to pay out money because my show was compared to the John Campea Show, it was an expensive show to run. It didn't obligate them to do that. So, I mean, listen, does it suck? Absolutely it sucks.
Sure.
Absolutely it sucks. But I guarantee you this too. The next possible chance that those guys get for a paying gig to work on a Warner Brothers movie, I 100% guarantee you they're going to take it. I 1,000% guarantee you they're going to take it. Absolutely there. Because that's the business. That's just the business.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers has not already offered them another movie.
I'd be shocked. I mean, in their public statement they released, they say we look forward to working with them. And
I
with
guarantee you, they're like, listen,
kind of
this sucks, but these are the movies that we want you to consider. I've heard stories like this before where whether it's an actor or a director, they'll get some really bad news. But sometimes, especially if they have a good working relationship, the studio doesn't want to lose that relationship with those directors either. So they'll offer a consolation prize of sorts.
All right, what's next?
From Ugesh Kumar. Love you, Aaron. Missed you so much and welcome back.
It's always
Thank
good
you
to have
so
her with
much.
us.
Thank
All right,
you.
what's next?
From Jackmaster Nora. John, I hope going forward that Disney Plus drops all MCU and Star Wars on different days.
Yeah, of course, they made the announcement yesterday that She-Hulk was going to be, for the first time ever, they're doing one of their premium shows, not on Tuesday at midnight or Wednesday for most people in the world. They're actually going to release it on Thursdays or Wednesday at midnight for us. And then when Andor comes out, because there's going to be some overlap, Andor will be Tuesday at midnight. So I agree. I think they got through the experiment of that with Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel, and they decided, you know what, we need to have these on different nights. I hope they stay with that as well. All right, what's next?
From Ronnie S. Will Margot Robbie return as Harley if Lady Gaga is playing Harley in another universe? Not sure what DC and WB is doing with their shared multiverse.
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. That one has nothing to do with the other. These are, the Joker is clearly its own separate universe. It is not a DCU thing. By the way, I'm not aware of any official plans of Margot Robbie to come back to play that Harley again anyway. But if there is, Lady Gaga doing it in another film franchise, really essentially, is not going to change that. So one has nothing to do with the other. Good question, but I think the answer is one has nothing to do with the other. All right, what's next?
From Marie Seafring. John, I agree with you that Wong will be the new Nick Fury of the MCU. He showed up in a new She-Hulk promo.
I haven't seen the new promo, but I mean, clearly, I think he's got a bigger role in that show than I thought he did. And you literally see him popping up everywhere. Even Kevin Feige has joked, it's the Wong cinematic universe. So I think, and Rob thinks it might be even bigger than I do, but we'll see where it goes. But yeah, it is kind of like he's the new Nick Fury. You're right. All right, what's next?
From Dilute Thief. John secretly wants a Wonder Twins movie.
So deep down inside, I was just mad that I didn't get to direct. No, I really don't. I really don't. You remember, you guys may not watch the show, but Rob was like, yeah, but what if they do in a different way where like they're actually lovers and blah, blah. It's like they're brother and sister, they're twins, Rob.
Both
Game of Thrones means
what kind of Game of Thrones?
the faces that John and I made of just... and then just slowly wheeling away. Of like, no.
At what point did he realize what words had come out of his mouth? Or did he know?
I just think he was thinking on a different level. I
Really?
I don't know.
It was a reimagining.
It was a
but we were very hung up
reimagining.
on, but they're twins.
But they're
Reimagining,
twins. Like, they're not even
twins.
just siblings.
They're
They're
twins.
twins. That would work on The Boys, but not very many other places.
By the
and
way-
how long can you really carry that storyline?
I don't know why, but I got on a TikTok
You got on a
thing,
TikTok?
and I saw somebody tell this joke, stupidest joke in the world, but and it's ruined the ending now. But I laughed for about 5 minutes straight. Where it said I dated a girl who had a twin once, an identical twin, and had a twin once. My friend asked me, "Did you ever have problems telling them apart?" I said no, because Lisa had reddish hair and Eric had a dick. So and I just remember, you gotta understand, I'm laying in bed getting ready to go sleep, and I'm just watching this, and Anne's already asleep beside me, and I just heard that joke, and I started laughing frantically, and I tried to stay quiet. Anne sits up and looks at me all mad. I'm like, I'm sorry, baby. I was just laughing my ass off.
I mean,
Anyway.
they wouldn't really be identical twins then.
No,
but,
wouldn't be identical.
But they were
that's why I had to
twins, yes.
backtrack the
That
identical
is funny.
part.
And Eric had a dick. I love it.
All right, what's next?
Jackmaster Nora. John, with the resort being a sponsor of the show, why no after show?
Well, I think you just said it. I think it would be a conflict of interest for me to do an after show, right? Because that is literally a show that is paying us money. So I think it would be an obvious conflict of interest for the fact that they are literally paying us money for me to do an after show on it. I mean, because I'm literally getting paid by them. So
But then
that's
we could
why.
then we could run the ad.
The ad
See
on the after show,
on the after
the
show
after
that
show.
everyone just watched.
which would make as much sense as having a Nicole Kidman doing an AMC ad while people are already sitting in an AMC
the
theater.
resort
That's
just feels
right.
better in a place like this.
All right, what's next?
From Jackmaster Nora. John, when are we getting an A-Force episode, Justice for Amy?
Oh, that's
from
right.
Amy.
Because I want to do. I want to do. I'm not ready to announce something. But I did joke once that I would love to have a John Campea Show day where I take the day off and Chris sits in this chair and Aaron sits in that chair and Amy sits in the other chair and just have an all.
lady
you
show.
guys do it, an all lady show. For
I love it.
I think that will be a lot of that would be a lot of fun. All right, what's next?
From Ryan Platt, saw Crawdads for the third time the other day. Absolutely love
Wow.
it. Daisy Edgar Jones is my new favorite. Oh, and a $20 super chat too.
Oh,
Thanks. so
Thank
much,
you for
Ryan.
that. You know, I don't know anything about this movie.
You
at
will
all.
come Oscar season.
A friend of mine
Is it
saw
that good?
and said it is not. Another actress friend of mine, which she was like, I want you to see it because I feel like you're going to be very amused throughout the whole film.
Oh, I haven't seen it. It
Ray,
just
can you look up the Rotten
sounds
Tomatoes
like-
for where the Crawdads sing? I don't even know what the Rotten Tomatoes rating on it is
I have
right now.
no idea.
But obviously, you saw it 3 times, so
Yeah,
clearly
I need
you're
to go
really
see it.
enjoying it. So I don't know anything about whether it could get like Oscar nominations or anything. What do we got, Ray?
It's not on the front page, so here it is. It is at 33.
Oh, okay, maybe.
32%. So
Tomato
maybe-
meter,
maybe you won't be
tomato
hearing about
meter,
it.
Okay.
33%,
Is like
177 reviews, and then but the audience score is 96% with over 5,000 reviews.
Huh.
So
Okay.
33 to 96.
I mean, I know the trailers have confused me because she's supposed to be like a feral marsh girl. And I'm like, okay, well, she's shopping at
Yeah.
Anthropology.
Yeah.
The trailers have not been appealing
I
to
don't
me
even
at
shop
all.
at Anthropology.
This is
That
Reese
store's
Reese
expensive.
Witherspoon's movie, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's the power behind this one. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm glad you liked it. That's the
Yeah.
important thing. All right. What's next?
From Timothy Carter, sending in a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Timothy.
The Hollywood Reporter talking about in an article that Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2 could get pushed back. What do y'all think?
Well, they've already been pushed back like 85 times. So, I
Yeah.
mean, what's another 5 more times?
Why
I
not?
mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, at some point you just got to release it because you're going to get into one of these situations. Like I remember when Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, they had been playing the trailers for over a year. And by the time that movie came out, like Rob and I talked about this, by the time the movie came out, people were like, oh, wait, didn't that movie like come out like 6 months ago
Yeah.
or whatever? I honestly think you're going to you're in danger at this point of getting into that kind of territory with Shazam. I mean, look, if they bump it a few weeks, no big deal. But if they do another 3, 4, 5 month bump, I don't know. I think they're going to get themselves into trouble, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. What's next?
From Nerds News Auto, I think David is doing a good job in DCU.
But what somebody brought up earlier is a really good point. Like, is he doing a good job of trying to cut out the garbage, like trying to take out the stuff that is hurting the reputation of poor quality in the DCU and all that kind of, yes. But the big question is going to be, can he shepherd good content? And I'm sure Alan Horn being there is going to go a long, Alan Horn, the mastermind behind all of Disney films, including Marvel and stuff like that. Alan Horn being there now working with them, I'm sure that's going to go a long way to helping that. But that's really where we're going to determine if David Zaslav did well. And that's going to, again, take us a couple of years to find out. So we'll see. All right, what's next?
From Marie Seafring. We already did this one about how good it is to have Aaron back, but it is good to have Aaron back.
It is good to have Aaron
I had
back.
to turn Joey Bishop around because her butt was facing Chris and she keeps tooting.
I can't
Yeah.
smell though. I have
Oh,
no
that's
sense
right.
of smell.
I forgot you don't have a sense of smell.
Yeah. So
oh, that's
toot
right.
away, baby
rude.
girl.
Oh, she is tooting.
Yeah,
She-
you can hit me
delicious.
with all that musk. I'll never know, baby.
I don't know where the
That's
dog.
why I love being roommates with Chris Carr is because whenever I'm too delicious, she doesn't know.
Okay,
Where does the
I
dog
can't
start
tell where
and
the dog starts and the bed starts.
Yeah.
In that case, they're the same color. The dog. There's like a giant tribble. There's Joey.
Little princess.
Joey. All right, and is that it?
Yeah.
Ray,
Yeah.
did we have any other membership? Okay, no. Okay, then guys, that'll do it for today's episode of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you give us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so much for your support. Don't forget to come back again tomorrow for our Friday episode of the John Campea Show. I believe it's going to be me, Chris, and Robert tomorrow. So make sure you guys come back and join us for that. And until then, guys, for everybody in the room, for our good friend Aaron Cummings, Chris Carr, the one and the only Ray Ora, and running the show today, producer Jonathan Voico. My name is John Campea. That'll do it for us for now. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.